Welcome to Planning Phase Syndicate. This is episode number 40. Tonight, we got an amazing episode. We're going to talk about all the new spoilers because there's one I'm super excited about that I cannot wait to start building around. But we're going to talk all the spoilers that we got this week, as well as we're going to have a conversation about PQ results, look a little bit at the meta, and we'll probably talk about whether is Han a problem? I don't know. Joining me tonight is my co-host. Please welcome the benchwarmer himself, Mr. Alex James Benchwarmer. How are you tonight, sir? You got a new nickname? Yeah, I don't know. I felt like giving you a new nickname. Your middle name?
Well, that's no one will guess my middle name. That is an obscure name, but yes, hello.
no James for the middle name? What the hell?
Yeah, I know.
Hold on, let me text Cody right now. I'm going to text Cody and find out what
Cody doesn't know my middle name.
Oh. Anyway, hopefully you had a good weekend. We got a bunch of cool stuff that we're going to be rolling out and talking about tonight, but I'm excited for PQ season, and I'm excited for having, some of the store showdowns. I'm sad there was no store showdowns this weekend. My nephew was very upset because he had no hockey practice at all this weekend, and then there was no store showdowns. So there was nothing. He was like, "Hey, can we go play in a store showdown?" And I was like, sorry, buddy, I don't know of any. Like, I messaged to see if anybody knew of one, and nope, got nothing. So
yeah, I don't even think there was really any by me on this side of the state. I can't think of any. Or if it happened, I just didn't know about it. Whoops.
Yeah. So, yeah, I couldn't find any. So I was kind of a little bummed by that because I had my Thrawn deck. I really wanted to play my Thrawn deck again. Just because I have that showcase and I just want to get it in. But maybe I'll bring Thrawn to the PQ, right? Like, do you think I'm going to win the PQ anyway? Probably not. Should I just bring Thrawn? I don't know, Alex. What do you think? What do you think I should bring? You're coming to the PQ in 2 weeks too, right?
Oh, that's in 2 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah. What have you been playing that it excites you that you want to bring to the PQ?
I haven't been playing anything that I think is good enough to bring to the PQ lately. I haven't really been playing too much. Just kind of messing around with some really weird choices, right? My buddy and I are working on like a yellow Obi-Wan deck that tests pretty well, actually, into things like Quinlan, Cad Bane, like any mid-range deck it usually is able to handle, and aggro to, Obi-Wan's a Sentinel, so that helps out significantly, as is just being blue in general.
Yeah.
But man, does it not do well against like control. But if your deck did well against all three archetypes, it'd be the best deck in the meta and everyone would be playing it. So
Yep.
Yeah,
we know that's not
taking
true.
Random stuff. Right, yeah. And I'm not even sure if this is the right color Obi-Wan or if like I want to do any of these kinds of things. So I'm done playing Bulba because I was taking up most of my time, and I'm like, it's a fun deck by all means, and like it'll take stuff by surprise, but it's not like ultra competitive. Not the yellow version. So haven't been doing too much.
Yeah. So we'll be excited though for yellow Bulba in the new set though. Like, I do still think new set comes out. I've already been working on trying to get me a showcase because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get a showcase and then at least I have that to play. Like, I'll be ahead of the curve here. I'll have the showcase to play instead of like trying to have to buy it after the fact for it.
Piloting is a keyword.
It is. I'm so excited for that because it just I don't know. I don't know what I want to bring to the PQ because I feel like I can just play Django because that's what I've always played. I don't really want to play Bosk anymore. You know what deck I have been playing again, sadly enough?
Is it Kira again?
It's Kira. I've been playing Kira. I've switched to 30 health base, but I've been playing Kira again. And I was like, man, I forgot how much fun I found in this deck. This deck is so much fun.
Nothing is terribly interesting in like Ride Palpatine right now, which is my preferred color. So I'm just like, I could do blue, and that's okay. It's not terribly stimulating, but it works, and like yellow's fine. So it's just like I haven't really been playing Palpatine. I haven't been playing like Control. Might look into like a mono blue Yoda kind of thing. At least have a win con against Control.
Yeah, that one has a win con. I actually like yellow or blue Yoda. I've been playing a little bit of that. I've been playing a lot of Quinlan though. And I picked up Han, obviously. I picked up Han, especially because I want to learn how to play against it, whether I run Han. So I have a showcase for it, right? So like technically I could just run Han. I don't know. I don't. It seems crazy to me about some of that stuff, but maybe that's what we do. So, all right. Well, with that being said, why don't we jump into our favorite segment? All right, welcome to our Galactic Gazette. This is our news and spoiler segment. We've got a lot for you today. Some interesting, some just we're going to breeze through. The biggest thing that we have to announce is that the new token sets, which is hilarious because people have been doing this crap on Etsy since day one. But if you would like official, they're reprinting the premium token sets for you, so that you can actually have some of the original tokens that came out with the game back last year. I guess it's already last year in March now. It's just crazy. So they're reprinting them for you. They look really cool. You get 55 tokens. They're now double-sided, right?
Yeah. I was about to say they learned from the aforementioned Etsy creators and double-sided the damage tokens. So you got 12, 1 and 3 damage and 6, 5 and 10 damage.
Which I probably will just pick up another set so I have it. I don't know though. Like I don't really. I have like 3 sets of tokens. Do I really need a 4th? Probably not. I will say I do like the double-sided thing because a lot of the guys at my locals have those metal fab tokens that are the double-sided, and those are really cool. I just couldn't afford the $100 price tag for them. I was like, I don't know about that. But they look amazing.
Yeah, Knuckles from Crowpaw, he has his acrylic tokens are now like double-sided like that. It's got the 1, the 3, the 5, the 7, 10, and 15. And that's very useful when you're just like, I'm going to kill this thing, flip my 1 into a 3, because a lot of things just have to attack in the beginning, right? So it is really convenient just being able to flip them instead of digging something else out.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of like that. I do think that was a good ad on their half. They also are creating a new premium token set for Twin Suns. I'm going ahead and buying this one. This one I am buying. I don't actually have Twin Sun tokens right now, so I don't have the plan or blast counters. They're also creating a new Sentinel token, which I kind of really like those. Those look really cool.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I mean, they have like the purple reminder ones, right? But like, it makes so much more sense just to have a dedicated Sentinel token.
Yep. So I like that. I'm picking. It's only $20, so I'm gonna get one of those. Just essentially, it's the same price as if I were to buy. If they hadn't released it, especially if Twin Suns was going to become a format that we got to play at cons a lot, I was going to pick up my own set of tokens anyway. This one just whatever. I'll support FFG in an effort to ensure that hopefully the game stays around. So it's really cool. I like that idea. I think that's nice that they're actually supporting Twin Suns again. Which leads me to the next thing. They now have Twin Suns soft crates for you.
Yeah.
I don't know why you want a soft crate Twin Suns, but you could get it. It holds up to 100 sleeve cards.
It's $13. And the first point they bring up is that it's budget friendly. So that would be why.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they got some cool designs. Like their soft crate designs are usually pretty cool.
Yeah. And they are nice. It is nice that they're giving you that option, right? You know, I'll tell you what, like just having that to be able to have that in there for your fancy tokens and some of the other things, like is probably a benefit anyway. It gives you a divider too, which is hilarious. Which, you know, what that means is I could probably just carry 2 decks in there. Like that would just solve like some of my problems.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess if you're trying to just do, because it's 100 cards, it has the 2 little cases for both your leaders. You could, just split it. But yeah, it's $13 is significantly cheaper than $45, which is the other Twin Suns box that we're going to get to. So
yeah,
I can afford this one on my government unemployment check.
Yeah. This one is the new Twin Suns Revolutionary Pod or whatever. It's not revolutionary, but they call it revolutionary. But this way, it's $45, but it's got basically 2 sides, one for the leader on each side. I will just tell you, like I went ahead and ordered one of these just for the pure fact of I sometimes will run. So for example, I used to have Jabba Red and Pelp Red, and they share 30 cards of each of the decks. And this now allows me to hold both their decks in the same set of sleeves, and I now have both decks I can play anytime I go anywhere. So,
and it's designed to hold 100 double sleeved
Mhm.
cards, which are thick. So if you have single sleeve cards like I usually do, you can probably just put 2 full decks in there because you
Yes.
should be able to hold the extra 10 cards or whatever with the space you're saving by not double sleeving everything. So that's really cool. I wonder if that, I mean, the base, I'm sure you can just tuck 2 in there, right? Like, I think
Mhm.
it's only got 1 spot for a base, but whatever.
Yep, you just tuck 2 in there. I wouldn't, yeah.
When they're bases, like, whatever.
Yeah, and you can put both of them in the same sleeve if you want, just unsleeve the one you don't use. I don't know. I like it. I actually ordered one of those just because I want to try it out and see if it's better. What sucks is if it is really that much better, I feel like I have to sell my other ones so I can get more of these instead, but we'll see. Um, I just like the fact that you could put the 2 liters in there. And I build, like right now, built decks. I have 7. I have 7 built decks right now. So, like this would be handy because a lot of times I will, like for a while I was running Kira and Hondo, and they're both green blue. They both share quite a few cards as well. And it would be nice to be able to put that, just together, because sometimes I go to locals and I don't want to play Kira. I just want to play like a fun deck, and I like Hondo. Hondo's my fun deck of choice outside of Hunter. I have been enjoying Hunter double green. And I probably shouldn't, and it probably shouldn't do as well as it does, but it does. Like, I've had decent success with it, like as a for fun deck, Anyway,
If these can actually like hold 2 single sleeve decks, it's going to be hard for me to justify bringing like the double deck thing that's really wide when I can just like hold this one up in like a coat pocket.
yeah,
So we'll see. It's $45 I don't have, but it's kind of
yeah,
cool. I mean, it's really cool, but like money.
yeah. The other thing they decided to do is throw in some specific hyperspace foil cards with unique artwork on it that you can't get anywhere else. So screw you, FFG. Thank you. I do not want to have to buy one of every color just to get that stupid card.
Yeah, so like
They asked what ones we wanted. I said I want the blue. I really want that blue one. I want that Dagobah Swamp, and I know that's like the inside joke. People who run blue decks always run Dagobah Swamp, but
well,
that actually looks cool. So
yeah, it's reprints, yeah, kind of, from set 1. So it has like the 4 like I don't know, more iconic, I guess, colors. So it's like a different artwork for Dagobah Swamp, Echo Base, Jabba's Palace, and the Catacombs of Cadera. And then for the black and the white box, they give you a shield and an experience token, and those look really cool too. They're just like slightly different than the ones, but like that shield on the B Wing looks so much nicer. The experience is cool because it's Luke upside down or whatever training. But man, that shield on that B Wing.
yeah,
And we're finally getting B Wing. Spoilers, I guess, but like it's
yeah.
been a
Spoiler.
while. Like I was shocked it took us 4 sets to get a B Wing.
Yeah, that is very exciting. So here's just kind of the more up close and personal pictures. Again, the Dagobah Swamp, I really want that one out of all of them. I will say the B Wing does look nice too. But like the problem is you're gonna want that, and then like how many boxes are you gonna buy to get that card, right? Like I need like 6 of these, and I'm never gonna, like, I don't know. I don't. The other thing,
Like,
go ahead.
they are really gorgeous. No, I'm just like they are really gorgeous.
Yeah. The other thing they decided to come up with was damage counter pads, and it's hilarious because they had to do a clarification the day afterwards. Because technically you have to count. You're not supposed to hide your damage base total health, and you also have to count a certain way. So they like explained how you can do this legally by flipping your card around. I was like,
yeah, like turn it upside down so your opponent sees that it's a 30 health base and you're 30
yeah,
target, but you still have to count up. I think they dropped the ball on this product, honestly. For $15,
yes.
you're getting an L-shaped wedge that you just clip on, or you shove a base in there, and you're just like, I hide my base total. I have no way of marking that I've done my own epic action on my base. That's what kills me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely in my opinion, I agree. It's a very poor design. I am not planning on getting any of those. Other than that, maybe I'll get it for stream because if it looks good on stream, I might get them just so they look good on stream. But if they don't look good on stream, I'm not. No way in hell am I going to spend that kind of money.
Yeah, I mean, like the numbers are clear and like it's a cool idea and concept. They could have put the number in the other corner.
Yeah.
Or like again, not having a thing to mark that you use this epic action. I mean, I get they have like the little X tokens in their official product tokens and stuff, but like it'd be really cool if you could just like, I don't know, flip a button and it's like, have I used my epic action? Yes, no, or like slide a little thing out there or something that says I used it. I don't know. Eh.
Yeah. You
That
want
was
to
the
know
one dud.
the funny thing though? It says count 0 to 49 to future proof. So obviously we have war health bases coming that they haven't released, but now this is telling us we definitely could have up to a 40 health base. So easily.
Not 50 though.
Not 50, but probably 45. Between 40 and 45. I was like, okay. And I will laugh if FG in a year releases a 50 health base and it just makes these invalid.
Maybe they'll make a better, good damage pad this time.
Then the next thing that they released was basically slip case ring binder 24 pocket. They're $70. So if you would like to do that, more power to you. Not on my, I don't know. A 24 pocket just seems, I don't know. This seems
not a lot.
This seems like a rich person's thing that maybe doesn't own everything in the game. Like,
it's a little bit hard to justify $70 for 3 binders.
Yeah, like I have 6 binders at home, and 4 of them are filled, and one of them has extras, and that cost me less than $70 total. So
I'm sure it costs you less than like $40 total because binders are usually incredibly cheap.
Well, I have nice leather zip up ones.
Fancy! I got some white Office Max ones that I stole from work.
That's what I kept my Destiny in. So if I ever take my Destiny out, I actually will have even more binders. So I'm waiting to see what they do for rotation. That's and what happens in rotation, because that will make a huge difference for me, and that actually will justify. For me, that justifies what I spend going forward, in terms of collectability and things like that, because I'm not going to spend like $800 a set 3 times a year to have it like be rotated out in 1 year. Like I'm not going to do that. Like we'll be at what 6 sets this
at the end of next year.
Yeah, so
or this time next year or whatever.
Yeah, so like we'll see. I'm not super worried about it. Like a lot of times you don't use half the cards anyway, so do they have to be in a binder? Could they just go in a box? I don't know. So this is just a screenshot. It has a couple of the different mats. They have a new Twin Suns mat coming out, which I think we covered the other week. There's also a fun Boba Slave 1 mat in there, and I'm guessing that's an FN mat as well. And then in the soft crates, there's definitely a Phasma in there. So I don't care what anyone says, that looks like Phasma to me in that crate.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely looks not white in terms of armor. It looks shiny. It would make sense, right? Like not having Captain Phasma, yeah, it's kind of weird. And I think the way back mat that it's either like that Scarif thing or like maybe like Black One kind of thing. Not exactly sure in the back. Can't really see the engines of the ships.
No. I think you're right. I do wonder if it's a Scarif battle, but I'm sure we'll see more of that. They'll release more of that here in the next month. So, well, let's move on to the leaders. I'll tell you what. Instead of going in the order I picked, Alex, what is your favorite leader that you want to cover tonight?
Well, I know which one you want to cover.
Well, doesn't matter if that's your favorite. Cover it.
I'm going to go with one that I don't think you like at all. So they're doing Lando.
Yeah.
He's a blue hero. He's a rebel official pilot. He deploys on 7. And as an action, spend 1 resource, exhaust it. Play a unit from your hand, paying its cost, which is everything in this game.
Mm-hmm.
But paying the cost. If you do, and you control a ground unit and a space unit, give a shield token to a unit. Doesn't have to be the one you played. He deploys at 7 again. He's a 5/7 Sentinel. Or if you deploy him as a pilot, the attached unit is a leader unit, like all that we've seen so far. It gains Sentinel and +5/+5. And when you deploy it as an upgrade, you can give a shield token to a unit in a different arena. Uh, and that's what he does. I believe you think he's pretty lame.
I don't think he's very good. I will say the Sentinel piece, like when he does come out as a Sentinel, like that's the OB stats, right? So he's got one more power if he comes on the ground. I think as a leader, he's a better leader than some of the like the Han that we've seen. Not saying the Han we've seen is bad, but like this gives you something in both ground and space, and that part I like. But he comes out on 7, and I don't know. I don't. Do I really want to pay one? I mean, I guess that's like Luke, except for the difference between this and Luke is the difference between and Luke is this is like Luke's leader side, but you have to pay the cost for it because you can give the shield to anybody. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like Luke, you have to give it to a hero unit that you played this turn. Lando, you just have to have one in
Each
both
space.
arenas.
Yeah.
But like, when you play it, like if you have first turn Battlefield Marine or whatever, right? Next turn, if you play like an arc, you can give a shield to either the arc or the Battlefield Marine, which that flexibility is really, really nice. And especially in blue where they have a lot of sentinels, like just giving shields to sentinels is incredibly annoying. And the 5/5 stat line for and giving a unit of sentinels really big. And that's like a really annoying thing to do. The only problem is that he does come out on 7, I think.
Yeah, that's my bigger thing. Like, it feels like this wants to be a mid-range / aggro, like tempo deck. Maybe not quite aggro, but like a tempo deck. Like an aggro deck is going to always have tons of units, and like that would make sense if he came out like on a lower cost, but he doesn't. Like, so
he seems more like a control leader to me, right? Because you want to just slow the game down by giving your Sentinel units shields and stuff, right?
sure, but we've seen how well Chewie and Grievous have done as control leaders in the meta, and I don't think I've seen Chewie even make a top 8 in a PQ at all.
Chewie only gives
And
Sentinels the 3 cost or less units. Like that goes right out the door halfway through the game.
sure, but then he's the same way he comes out at the center. I don't know. I don't. I don't know. I don't.
A lot of people are poo pooing him. I think he's fine. I think it really kind of depends on what other like Sentinels or how easy it is to play units in both arenas. But I think he's kind of an interesting option for blue.
Yeah, I still like Obi better, and I think I don't know. I will say when his leader comes out, like I still think his leader is pretty damn good. Like when he comes out, he's a Sentinel no matter what, and he's either a 5/5 or a 5/7. Period. No matter what. So you put him on a Concord Don. Can you imagine him riding around in a Concord Don? Right? Say
Yeah, turn into a 6/9 that attacks for 8 back when you run your Avenger into it or whatever.
yeah. So like that seems really good. And maybe it is pivotal. Like, I'm not saying he is an aggro deck. I was just saying, like, his ability feels like it could go into
Sure, if you're like
more
flooding the
aggro.
board.
Yeah.
Yeah, his ability to let you to the trigger off. It's just kind of interesting, like with leaders that play like slightly under the curve, right? Like Luke or like Fennec, Vader, where they're like, yeah, you pay the extra resource to give a benefit to whatever you just played.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's still kind of wonky, but like I don't know. It feels like a 4/6 that gave like +4/+4 and it was a 6 cost. I think it'd be a lot better
Mm-hmm.
with all the Sentinel stuff, but I feel like the game might slow down a little bit more. Um, with just like the cards that we've been showing off and like requiring vehicles for your put pilots into and all that kind of stuff. So maybe you'll have a little bit of niche because the closest you have to control in Hero is like blue, and it's like somewhere it's either like Yoda or Ray, and that's kind of weird. So Lando might help just with the survivability of your units.
True.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, there's also indirect damage, right? So we'll see.
Yeah. I think the indirect damage, the more cards we find out about, that's the issue, bigger issue. But maybe we're getting like a higher health base that he works with, right? Like maybe that's like the key to some of these like higher costs. Like let's say you have a 40 health base, right? And even if it has somewhat of a negative impact or something like that, that says maybe do all indirect damage to your base or something. But like if he had a little bit higher health base too, the seven resources might not be as big of a deal because you're gonna force that game between your sentinels and that to go later. I would not run him as a double blue right now though, unless we get some amazing double blue stuff. But I would probably definitely entertain him. I like him a lot. With some well, green is the natural color, but red feels like it could be like that. I'm gonna splash around as a sentinel, and then I'm just gonna wipe your board and win the next turn. Like that's what it kind of feels like.
I mean, he is also a rebel, so you have the rebel synergy.
Going,
If you're running things like fleet lieutenants and wing leaders and stuff, can you imagine like wing leadering whatever Lando's on, or just him himself? That's really frustrating.
yeah. Until I bamboozle you, and then you just cry a little bit
Well,
inside.
I'm glad we have counters, or else this game would be terrible.
Right.
No, like I think he's interesting, and there's another card that he's kind of made to go with, which seems really kind of crazy if you do both in combination. But we'll get to that.
Yeah. All right. The leader I'm picking is Admiral Piett. Yes, I've already started building decks for him. Yes, I'm very excited for Admiral Piett. It is partially because I like villain, I think, more than I like hero, it seems, even though I have been playing hero more. Give me a little bit of credit there. I've been playing a little bit more hero, but his ability is for an action, play a capital ship from your hand and it costs one less. So that really crappy capital ship that's like, what is it?
The 3/5 that gives your opponent an extra resource when they kill it.
Yep, the bounty, like you can play that on one cheaper now, baby.
You can play it on the first turn.
Yep,
and it's a 3/5 spaceship.
Yep. So like his ability, I like the fact that it forces you to take an action. It's not an automatic type thing, but basically your action is that. And I'm happy that you have to exhaust it because I cannot imagine. Could you imagine if you play 2 capital ships cheaper? Because when he flips, every capital ship now costs 2 less. So now all of a sudden you just play ship for cheap. It's like the whole like Fennec ambush thing. Like if you don't kill Piett right away, like I think you're in deep doo doo if I can pull all these capital ships out. Thank God we have smuggle ones.
Now imagine if you have Piett and also Piett, the unit that ambushes anything that costs 6 or more.
Mm-hmm.
So then you can start dropping like ruthless raiders and have them ambush and do stuff.
Yeah,
for cheaper.
Yep, I can literally you can play Piett, then flip your leader and play ruthless leader in the same turn.
Yep,
it's disgusting. And if they have a sentinel that your Lando just happens to be on for whatever reason, I guess you wouldn't wait that long to flip them. But I don't know. You might wait. Like I wait with Kira. Typically, I use Kira as like to get rid of a bigger unit or their leader. Period. Like I don't use Kira as leader fodder as much. Piett feels the same way. Like I think if you get 2 capital ships off for two or less, like that makes the whole day. Like he's a 2/7, so he's hard to kill as it is. You don't ever have to swing with him if you don't want to. Just entrench him. That's they're throwing trench on, like whatever. I don't know. You're gonna do indirect damage. I'm just gonna do it to my, Admiral Piett. Thanks. I don't know. Some of it has to do with a couple of the cards we're gonna talk about in a minute, but like the fact that I now have a leader that is essentially this to me, this is the idea of a commander, right? And this is what when I talked about Thrawn before, this is what I wanted Thrawn to be, something similar to this. I hope we get another Thrawn. I really hope we get another Thrawn. And actually, maybe that's what we'll do is leader predictions next week. We haven't done that yet. I don't know.
No, we haven't. And a lot of the ones that I was predicting already showed up.
Yeah. Maybe we should do that tonight instead. Maybe we should scrap everything else and just do leader predictions tonight. And maybe we'll do that. We could go back and change this. Anyway, let's keep moving because I don't want to be here all night. I am very excited for Admiral Piett. I don't know if you're excited or not. I don't think he's like the end all be all, the best pilot, but I feel there's a lot of potential here. Just opening out of the gate. And he is rare, thank God, so that he's not going to show up in draft and sealed as much as like you would like. It's not going to always be there. Thank God.
You would also need the other capital ships, which tend to be higher rarity or more expensive. There's a couple interesting things with him. It's like he does technically, like he negates the aspect penalty if you wanted to drop like a home 1, right? You still drop it for 8. You're not going to get home 1's ability off ever, presumably, unless you're playing.
Hold on a second.
I don't even know like other hero units in your deck, which just is wrong. But you can play a home 1 for 8, which is interesting. But also there's the Arquintus, that assault cruiser, that 8 cost
Hmm.
ambush that like eats the opponent's ship and puts in the resource, and you can play that at 6, which seems very strong if you're trying to ramp up into other things.
Or how about the Gladiator?
Yeah,
The
Gladiator
Gladiator,
for 4.
yep, comes out and it gives whatever you want Sentinel.
Yep,
Every
including
like
itself.
just boom, like Merry Christmas. So I got hyperspace foils of that card. I'm so excited to be able to play that card.
Yeah, I mean, initial thoughts is just like cool. I could play like a red green capital ship deck, which with the Raiders, the Gladiators, the Arquintas, the Devastators, Relentless, and everything else thrown in here, Altered
Finalizer.
Devastators. Do you still want to play it?
I'm gonna
Even
play
for 9?
Finalizer, baby. Yeah, I got a hyperspace foil of that card. I'm playing it.
Yeah, your Admiral Piett lived to 9 resources, and I'm playing this Finalizer. I don't care if I have no board. I don't want it to capture anything. It's an 11/11, damn it.
That'll be
Yeah,
good for something.
I mean, I just playing a Relentless, right? If he lives 2 turns, you can play a Relentless at 7, which is very good. Stops the Super Laser Blast until they start playing other things.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about him too. He is Imperial as well, so you get the Imperial synergy. He's an official,
Oh,
so you get official synergy.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's
So
like, this is good. Like this to me, without even seeing any other cards, like I'm already excited about this guy.
there's also, have you considered a triple Dark Raid deck? Because if you flip him, your capital ships cost 2 less, in addition to the 3 cost less from triple Dark Raid, or 5 cost less, right?
Yep. You
So
play
you can,
Devas.
yeah, you can just play Devastator off triple Dark Raid, right?
Yep.
Like
Shh, don't tell
at
people.
5 resources, right?
Yes.
So bunch of cool stuff you can do if you're trying to do like another triple Dark Raid kind of thing.
Yep. I have a triple Dark Raid deck that I've started, and I also have a red one that I've started. Those are the two that I've been playing around with. I do think blue is going to be viable. Honestly,
sure.
I really think blue is probably going to be the better color, but that yellow, that triple Dark Raid, gives me the ability to like spam out crazy ships. Like it's going to feel like I can't test it yet because I don't have enough ships in there to test it with, but it feels like even like, oh come on, even just being able to play a ruthless raider with triple Dark Raid, even and him sitting out there is still good, even off color. Like I don't know, it's
Play the home one, do it. No one's ever played home one off triple
right.
Dark Raid, to my
All right,
knowledge.
all right. I'll play. What's the other one? Oh, do we want redemption in there too? Should we add redemption?
Yeah, not in the triple dark. Regardless, next leader.
Yeah, I could. I literally, we could do a whole episode just on.
I know. I'm excited for him.
That's how we will do that. Once after next week, maybe the week after, we'll do a full segment just on Admiral Piett. Tanner, Alex building Admiral Piett for you.
Yeah. Alex and Dad are building Admiral Piett with a quarter. They're like,
hell yeah,
like 10 of the cars released on the set.
I don't care. But by another week, we'll have more. But tell us about Akbar. We got Akbar.
Yeah. So we have Admiral Akbar, which is looks like a movie still that they just applied a filter to.
Yeah,
it's really rough. But Admiral Akbar, he's a yellow hero leader. He's a rebel official, so you still get the rebel synergy, all that kind of stuff. As an action, you can spend a resource, exhaust him, and exhaust a non-leader unit. If you do, its controller creates an X-Wing token. Really nice if you have already used his ability beforehand and you're just exhausting your own X-Wing to continue spawning X-Wings 2/2s for 1 cost.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a slightly better Rex. But also, you can exhaust your opponent, his stuff. They got an Avenger out, you just exhaust him, and here's an X-Wing token for compensation.
Yeah.
On the flip side, he comes out at 6. He's a 3/8. A lot of health. On attack, you may exhaust a unit. If you do, the controller creates an X-Wing token. Same ability. Sometimes you just need those in the game. And go on.
I was gonna say, I actually think that because it's 1 cost for a 2/2. This is better than Rex. Rex is like 2 costs for a 2/2. I like this. I actually think he's pretty good.
There's some cards that we'll go through later, which make him a lot better than he initially sounds, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, he seems fine. Like, don't get me wrong, like token generation will eventually probably be solid.
Yeah, I think the ability to pay 1 to exhaust any unit without having to have a unit on the board is pretty good. Like, yeah, you do have the downside of the. I do get it. You do get a downside of that, but I mean, we do have a card called Clear the Field. So,
Yep.
I mean, like,
In that aspect.
this is, I don't.
Yeah,
I
if he
like.
wasn't yellow, this card would be a lot worse. But because he's
Yes.
yellow, you end up getting the stuff that's like good at bouncing, good at exhausting. Like it fits right in, which is good game design. But I don't know, he might just be really annoying to go against.
He will be. This is the Jar Jar Binks deck of the set. That's what I would say. And the best part about this, like, is right, like the best part about this is you could get the little soundbite on your phone that says it's a trap, and then you can literally like play it every time you exhaust him, and you would like annoy the piss out of absolutely everybody. It's like when we play Thrawn, right? We play Thrawn. Oh, you don't play Thrawn. I play Thrawn, and like you get to exhaust somebody by looking at their cards, and like they have to stop everything they're doing. It disrupts their, focus to deal with what you want them to do, and that's what this is going to be. So, and the best is going to be you're like, hey, you have to create an X-wing token. Oh, you didn't bring one? Oh, well, you're supposed to bring them. So are you gonna have to give your opponent an X-wing token?
I mean, know. I have Jesse in my Fennec deck, and I always carry around 4 battle droids for that reason.
Yeah, which makes sense, right? Fennec. I love Fennec. All right, let's move on.
Fennec and Jesse is hilarious because you could just ambush your own droid that you gave them if there's nothing on the field.
Yep. Just bring it back.
So. Yes, let's go on to the next set, I guess. It's your choice of cards unless you want to go in order.
No, I'm just going to pick Devastator because that's the easy choice. It's a
Fair enough.
It's a 9/6/8 cost red villain, hunting the rebellion. I like the artwork on it, so I will say that's going to look amazing in a hyperspace foil. It is our first legendary that we have this week, and it is an Imperial vehicle capital ship. You assign all indirect damage you deal to opponents, so you can just screw you. And when played, you deal 4 indirect damage to each opponent. So it's designed for twin suns, but is going to be super good with Piett when Piett's able to play this, for 6 resources. Like, yep, thank you.
Or just like any triple dark raid where it just comes in and just hits for 13 in the base.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, isn't that crazy? That's just this like. That's why I don't know why you think like we're gonna have longer games. I think we're gonna have shorter games. This is gonna be like round 4. You like we'll all just be like, here's my capital ship. We're done. Anyway, this ship's amazing. I love this ship so much already. Like I will be happy to collect me a set of a play set of these, and I will like this. Not to go back to Red Palpatine, but if Red Palpatine may get a little bit better because of this, like. This is pretty good in Red Palpatine, so
it probably it's a tough call if I want to replace the other Devastator with it, but
but it fits very well. Like I mean, this is almost like a Palpatine, right? It comes out the same cost Palpatine comes out at, and it's a 9/6 in space, and it deals 4 direct damage, so it's 2 damage short. But then you get if they don't kill it, you get all indirect damage that you assign everywhere else. So.
Seems really nasty in a Jango deck, which is also the same color.
Stop it. Or Boba, or the new Boba Fett deck.
That's what I meant. Not okay. Jango Boba.
Yeah, the new Boba
Although,
Fett.
if you wanted to assign the direct damage, you could assign it to whatever you want in the Jango deck.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Boba where you're just like, I'm just going to do all these.
Yeah, let me triple dark raid this in my Boba deck and then flip my Boba.
Yeah,
that sounds great. Yeah, here's I don't know what is that like. That so that you get the 9 damage plus 4 plus another 4, so that's 17 damage.
Yeah, easy.
Yep,
17 damage on a Boba flip turn sounds familiar.
it does. So anyway, what's the next card, Alec?
I'll choose. It's a trap. I may or may not have already sent this in to create a board with the artwork because I find it really goofy and stupid. But they're also going to come out with cards that have that as the sleeve. So I'm going to run that and that in Akbar. So I'm all in on Akbar right now, I guess. So yeah, it's a 3-cost yellow hero. It's a trap. It's a gambit. So unfortunately, I don't think there's anything that interacts with it yet. It is a rare. If an opponent controls more space units than you, ready each space unit you control. Really good if you just keep giving them X-Wings yourself.
Yeah, I know. Like, oh, let me bring out my B-Wing or whatever, my Falcon. How about that? Like,
Yeah, it'd be cool if I can just continue writing all these like crazy capital ships because you just have a fleet of X-Wings that, you have because you're a villain.
yep. They're all
So
the
I
ones.
think it works very specifically in Akbar, I'm sure. It might be more of a meta thing or something for other decks down the line. It really depends on how prevalent space units are, and then also how useful it is for you to ready your own units. So we'll see. But yeah, an Bar seems like a pretty solid card, given what we know now.
Yeah, I like it. I think that's a good card. Actually, just I think just in general, I think it's a pretty good card for hero, especially ones that aren't spammy. Like Han, ironically enough. The next one is Blade Squadron B-Wing. So this is not the blue squadrons, by the way, which I'm hoping we have coming as well. But this is a Blade Squadron B-Wing. It's got like the old colors. This is like the old Rebel color. It's like from
This is like episode 6.
yeah. This is the cool looking B-Wing that you're like, oh, what happened to this B-Wing? And then you find out B-Wings suck in battle and they just die.
Well, they're bombers, kind of. They're supposed to be like heavy support vehicles, right? But like it's also a space battle, so it doesn't work as well as like the analog would be. But go on.
Yeah. Hopefully we get a Hera B-Wing. Oh man. All right, let's keep moving because I'm going to tangent. It is a Rebel vehicle fighter, so it's another Rebel card, by the way. And it is a 3/3/3. When played, if another player controls 3 or more exhausted units, give a shield token to a unit. While I would normally say that's not really that good, this will be very good with Akbar. And it's a Rebel, so it immediately like this. This is one cost more than an A-Wing, right? But in a Rebel vehicle, like if you want this in your Sabine deck, right? Like this would probably be pretty good in a Sabine deck. Because you sometimes want that bigger, chunkier, more hefty thing than an A-Wing out there. And this you attack this, it kills whatever it attacks back, mostly. Right?
Don't forget that outmaneuver is a card as well, where you just exhaust an entire arena.
Yep, outmaneuver. Yep, you're right. I used it in my Tron deck. Yep, you can just outmaneuver, and then there you go. Now you get a free shield. So, I actually like this card quite a bit, and like I'm excited to play Rebels now in draft. Partially because of this card. Like I think this is a really good.
I mean, it seems
for what it is.
Solid enough for like a common card, right? Like it's just a 3/3 for 3 in space, which who knows if that's going to scale anymore for these kinds of things, but it's solid. But the Rebels energy is the big part about that.
Yeah. All right, the next set, I'm going to take Independent Smuggler. And part of it's because of the artwork is just stupidly hilarious. This is like Jar Jar artwork right here. And partially because like the discussion of like what like this guy is a 1-cost 1/1 with raid 1. So when he attacks, like you can ambush him out and he's a 2/1. I don't know why you would do that, but you could. But he's now also able to be played as a pilot for 1 cost on a yellow vehicle, right? And the attached unit gains raid 1 and it's a +1/+1. So this is actually like we have I'll pick on it's a cartel. It's not cartel spacer is good. But what's the turncoat? What's the turncoat?
The cartel turncoat.
Thank you.
The 2/3 for 1.
Yeah, it's a 1 cost. This now is a 3/4 with raid 1. So it's essentially when it attacks, it's a 4/4, and you can play both of them turn 1. Yep. That seems pretty good. Like that. This card is going to be amazing in draft. Just as if you're going to play yellow, I think this card is going to be really good in draft. But I overall like it's a nice 1-drop that like this can be played as a 1-drop on your field or in space. You can use either of them. So it's very versatile. Like that's a very versatile card. So I like it.
I mean, having 1 health on a ground unit is not great with like the amount of like just random ping that's in this game, right? Like a Quinlan or a Cad Bane or a Vader or a Palpatine or whatever could just outright kill it. So you kind of want to attach it to a vehicle, which is
Sure.
fine. It'd be kind of interesting in something like Grand Inquisitor Yellow.
Mhm.
One of my locals plays like a space base Grand Inquisitor Yellow, and if you put it on like a cartel spacer, right, then it becomes a 3/4 with raid 1, so you can use Grand Inquisitor's ability and then hit for 4, which is pretty
Yeah.
nice. So
Well,
I think it's okay.
for a common, it's good. It's also got the underworld key. So
Yeah, but I mean, I guess you can McClunky him the turn that you play him.
yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Let's not focus on that one.
Yeah. I'm going to go with this absolutely bonkers card called Planetary Bombardment, which is a legendary and a tactic in red. And there's things like Stella Guerrera that can do damage to your base to get out tactic cards.
Yep.
But yes, this one is a 6-cost red event. Deal 8 indirect damage to a player. If you control a capital ship unit, deal 12 indirect damage instead.
So wait a minute. Triple Dark Raid brings Devastator out for 5, or no, 5 for 3, and 3 is 6. So if you have 12 resources, you can do 16 damage.
You can do 25 damage total. I guess.
Could you imagine if Boba Fett was still a thing around? Like being able to re-ready a resource? Like, come on.
But yeah, I mean this seems kind of silly. Like if you're really good at controlling the board per se, if it's like a a Palpatine kind of thing like we talk about, if they have no units, they eat 8 into their base or 12, right? Like that seems pretty solid. Just the 8 damage just across seems really strong.
Yeah,
Maybe
6
things
costs.
like Mace Windu might like it if you're really trying to go with something wild. But it seems pretty solid.
Yep. It's a tactic. Boba or Jabba can pull it. Man,
Jabba does tricks. Stella Guerrera can pull it.
As a tactic.
She pulls tactics, yeah.
Oh, that would be cool if we could get that villain.
I don't think bombing a planet from orbit is too much of a trick play,
Probably not. All right, the next one is called a Fleet Interdictator, is what I'm calling it. I know that's not what it's called.
Interdictor.
It is a 7-cost villain blue 6/6 Sentinel. It's an Imperial capital vehicle. It's pretty good. When defeated, you may defeat a space unit that costs 3 or less. So it's kind of got like that a little bit of additional things. I think the bigger thing that is good for is because it's a capital ship, right? Like I think that's like it's a 6/6 Sentinel in space. That's a capital ship. Piett can bring this out on 6 resources. So I think
5 resources because he flips on turn 5, right?
All right, fair enough. I'll run 5 resources. So I think the Sentinel piece is the big thing. The when defeated is pretty cool too, because you have to think about that. That's changing your math. So as you're doing all your maths and all that, this changes it because when you kill this thing, you have to think about what else it can kill. So if you have a leader that's only got 3 health, you don't have to worry about it. But if you got like a Battlefield Marine or a Boba Fett or anything else,
space unit that costs 3 or less.
Oh, it's a space unit.
Yeah, okay, so like they're Falcons, they're Red 3s, stuff like that.
Or the Concordons or anything like that. So yeah.
Or you just sneak attack out,
You could do that too.
For 6. And then swing in for 6. It's got a Sentinel in space, and then it dies at the end of the turn. Or trigger with your own Palpatine and defeat it if you really want to, or something weird like that if you're really, really trying to do that. And somehow they're still around through a 6/6 Sentinel space unit. I don't know. But it's okay. It's a common.
Yeah.
It's serviceable.
Yeah. It's cool that it's a Sentinel. There you go. That's like everything else is just
It's a big Sentinel.
Yeah. So I think that's the bigger thing that we have to look at. So
yeah, I mean, you probably still run the Gar Saxon gauntlet over this if you're trying to go for that, but yeah, it's another option. And it's a capital ship, so it works with Piett.
Yes. That's why I'm excited. But anyway, move on. What else do we got?
Speaking of capital ships, So this is a resupply carrier. It is a 6 cost, just green, just neutral green.
Yeah.
It is a 4/5 Imperial vehicle capital ship. When played, you may put the top card of your deck into play as a resource. It's a resupply.
So
Like it says in the name.
So tell me though, why is there Gazanti on the artwork and a bunch of TIE fighters neutral thing, and it says it's Imperial? Like, this has to be a mistake, right? Like, come on. Like,
I mean, there's like neutral cards that are like Imperial and Rebel. Like the Partisan Insurgents, right? They're the 1/4 Rebel units.
True.
Or like Callus is a neutral green.
Well, there's
Imperial.
there's a reason behind Callus. So Callus has like an actual logical definition. I don't remember Rebels ever having a Gazanti, but I could be wrong. I'll have to go back and watch the show.
Don't know, but it is a common card, so you can just kind of ramp at 6 or like 5 if you're Piett. But again, anything that comes into play is exhausted unless it says otherwise. So you can't use that resource again. But it is literally just a resupply on a body.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's kind of cool. It gives you the option to not just like, it's like when we play the super laser tech and you're like, oh my gosh, like it's 2/1, so you don't really care. This is like a 4/5, so this has a little bit more game into it than just the other, and it gives you a little bit more late game ramp. So it allows you that next turn to be the extra resource higher. Yeah, I like it. I think it's pretty good for what it is. So
yeah, I think it's really nice to like have Piett out and play the resupply carrier, and next turn play like a relentless.
Yeah, I do too. The next one is a Quasar TIE carrier. I will say I am first disappointed that you only create 1 TIE fighter token on attack, because I mean, I don't know, you're probably only getting 2 attacks off, and I can easily see 6 TIEs on that picture. But it is a 6 cost villain only Imperial capital ship. It's a 5/7, so it's got a pretty big butt on it for 6 costs, and it does hit for 5. And on attack, it creates a TIE fighter. So
yeah, I mean it's generic, so like its ability is going to be more generic, right? Like less good than anything that has this particular aspect. But it is another Imperial. It's an energy thing. It is a capital ship. It is a 5/7 for 6, which is a little bit wonk, but I don't know. I guess you get a 1/1 out of it. It's like Shakti, I guess, but less good.
It's okay. Yeah,
it's fine.
It's whatever. So it's another totally space vehicle. It's very good in draft. There you go. When I have my Piett deck in draft. All right, what's the next one?
Up next, we have Cassian Andor again, but he's a little bit different this time. He is blue. He's a 3 cost blue hero. He is a 3/4 pilot. No ability when you deploy him on the ground, but when he's a pilot, which is only for 2, by the way, instead of the 3 cost for this, which is kind of crazy. The attached unit gets on attack, discard a card from the defending player's deck. If that card costs 3 or less, draw a card, and he gives it +1/+3. And that's just really solid. It is kind of weird that they're like really trying to push for like hero blue mill or something.
Come on, baby. Yoda milk. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Satine, right? She's in there, but like having a 2 cost seems pretty good, right? Yeah, I mean, like if you have, well, one being like a 3/4 for 3 isn't awful. Like it's not good because you have no ability, but it's not unusable.
Yeah.
So in a pinch, having a ground unit is not bad, but also like piloting for 2 is kind of crazy to me, right? Like you can 3 extra health is pretty substantial. I mean, if you're playing an early game, right? It's like I don't know, you played an arc. 170, right? Like the restoring one. So then you can put that on there. Now it's a 3/6 with a restore 1, and they dump a card from their deck, and you might draw.
Yep.
It's okay. I mean, I'm sure there's other vehicles that are going to be a lot better, and you probably don't want to play them super early, but I think he's pretty solid, especially for a rare.
I mean, how about this? Why it's even better, though, for 2 costs, right? So think about this. people are gonna have to play power failures and confiscates at this point. Like we're gonna have to play it again. You can put this on there and have somebody burn their confiscate very early because there's no reason you want a Concord down in space that is a 2/7. Like you don't want that. That attacks you back for 5 or 6. You don't want that. Like that's like you want that guy dead, and that's like that's 5 costs for your opponent to be able to play that. I don't know. Like I think this is pretty good. Like the 2 costs is crazy to me, but I think we'll see. Well, I think we'll see more of that coming up in the future. So, well, the next one that I'm going to pick the Banshee. Can't help myself. It is not a capital ship. I gave up the capital ship this time, but it is Asajj's ship, and it has tri-fighters. It has the tri-fighters in it. I'm so excited because of the tri-fighters. I just love me some tri-fighters. That's an X-wing thing. But it is a 5-cost blue villain, 4/5 separatist vehicle. On attack, you may deal damage to a unit equal to the amount of damage on this unit, which fits into Asajj's pilot ability, which we're not going to get into. If you want, you can look that up. But it works with Asajj's pilot ability, and obviously it's her ship. It's designed for that. JJ and I predicted we'd see this the first time they released Asajj. We predicted we'd see this, so we now have it. It is unique too, which is crazy, right? Like you cannot spam this, have it sitting on the board. So thank God for that.
Well, you can get it out for 3 if you have a Dooku and you're playing Dooku leader.
Yeah,
because it is a separatist, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
nice that they're like not solely focusing on like the Rebel Imperial stuff.
Yeah, nope, I like it too. I like that we're getting more separatist keywords. That's cool. That's really cool. All right, what's the next one?
Oh, I'll choose Home 1, right? We're getting another Home 1, but also it's a different color. Right? This keeps happening. It's Devastators, it's Cassians, everything's different now, and I don't like it. So yes, this is Home 1. It costs 9. It is a yellow hero. It is a rebel and a capital ship. It is a 7/8. And if your opponent controls 3 or more space units, this unit costs 3 less to play. And it has ambush.
I wonder who that sounds like it's going to work with.
I mean, that is the ship that Akbar was like commanding, right?
It is.
So, yeah, I mean, like, it is a decent kind of like thing to keep in mind, right? If you're going against Yellow Hero, if you have 3 or more space units and you hit 6 resources, you're just like, they can ambush out a 7/8 right now. Otherwise, for 9, it's kind of a little bit iffy. I mean, the ambush is still really, really nice, and you're probably going to kill something with 7 attack. It's not an Avenger, can't kill that, but the 7 attack helps. The 8 health helps. The ambush is nice, but really it's just like, hey, if your opponent has, you have to keep them honest in space, right? You can't flood space. It seems okay. It really depends on like if we're getting just bonkers space cards, right? And everyone's going to be on space, then Home 1 might be worth it.
Yeah, I think it's okay because it has a 3-cost thing. It obviously works very well with Akbar. I don't know. I'm not as excited for this one as I was for the other one. I think the other one has a little bit more playability. But we will see because I mean the ability to have the 3. I mean them having X-wings out there by the time you get to your 6-cost resource, I could see it being a thing. I just like wouldn't it suck to give your opponents like so that's going to be 2, 4, 6, and then 6 more is 12. You're giving your opponent 12 free damage if you don't kill their ship, those X-wing, right? So I don't know. Like, and I guess unless you're just exhausting the X-wing, right?
Yeah, but so you can always exhaust their X-wing for another X-wing.
then okay, there you go. Like that combo seems pretty good. Then all right, I'm on board with that.
It's also another unique unit with the same name for your yellow hunter deck you haven't built yet. Get 2 different Home 1s in there.
I know. Trust me, me and Hunter are bays right now. Like, okay, but if this can come out, let's just say this can come out for 6 resources. This can ambush in and take out. You're not worrying about Avenger because Avenger's not being played on that resource chart. You could play this on the 6 resource and you could take out a Fetz fire spray like that. It's gone, and it lives. So seems pretty good, like in that aspect. But I think it's got limited playability.
I mean, yeah, it seems fine. Like, fine.
All right. So the next one is Red leader, form up. This is a 4-cost X-wing, obviously. Sorry,
Red
we
leader,
played
that
it.
was Wedge, right?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
Which this doesn't say that on there, so you can 100% just play this with Wedge too. Which, by the way, I am building a Wedge deck. Just
As you should.
yeah, just off the gates, I'm already building one too. But this is a 3/4 rebel fighter, so we got more rebel synergy coming. This unit costs 1 less to play for each friendly pilot unit and upgrade. So you could probably play this for free at minimum if you have that. And then it has a subtext that says when a pilot upgrade attaches to this unit, you get to create a free X-Wing token. So I mean, that seems pretty good. Like, obviously it's probably not designed for Wedge, but like, I don't know. I mean, you could play this stupid 1-cost independent smuggler, and now I have a 4/5 that also can create X-Wing tokens.
No, I'll do you one better.
Okay.
You attach Anakin onto him.
Stop it. No,
who's
no.
the 2/3. So now it's a 5/7. You swing in, you create an X-Wing token, you pop Anakin back into your hand, put him back on there next turn, and just
create another
create
one.
more X-Wing tokens. But also, like, it works like Wedge Leader, right? Like, Wedge Leader, you're trying to play pilots for 1 less, so it's nice. Like, obviously, a 3/4 for 4 isn't good in space, but like, obviously, you want to, for less. And also, it's kind of cool that, like, even if you do have pilots on the ground, like if you're independent smuggler, you put on the ground, it still counts that because it is friendly pilot unit and upgrade.
Yes. Yep. I like it. I actually think this is pretty good, especially for an uncommon. I'm pretty sure this will easily make play in almost every deck. Every hero deck. So
if you draw all 3 independent smugglers, you can play it on turn 2.
That'd be hilarious. You wouldn't have any cards in your hand, but you sure as fucking play it.
Yeah, why not?
Sounds like put Maz on the ground too. Maz is a 1-cost, like boom, 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 boom.
There
like
you go.
Maz is now like what, a 4? Oh my gosh! All right, let's move on. We're getting bogged down. What one do you want next?
I'll take the Invisible Hand because again, it's another ship. It's a different color. I'm confused. So yeah, we got another Invisible Hand. It is a green black unit this time instead of just a pure black. It is a 6/6 for 6. It is a separatist and capital ship. And there's a lot of text here. So when played / when this unit completes an attack, and in parentheses, they now have to add the and survives because people are really confused with the Ezras and the Boba leaders. So yeah, when played and when it completes an attack and lives, you may search the top 8 cards of your deck for a droid unit, reveal it, and draw it. If it costs 2 or less, you could just play it in for free. And then you put the rest of the cards at the bottom. Yeah, without the reminder text, I'm sure this is a nice, succinct little text box. Otherwise, this one just takes up the entire thing with the reminder text, which is funny.
My belief is this card will be in the OP kits. That's my belief. I have a feeling this will be an OP card.
Do they have OP cards that are rare?
Yes. I think so, yes.
I don't know offhand.
Yeah,
but, yeah, I mean, it seems okay. Like, obviously, if you're running something with a lot of droids, like maybe like a Grievous kind of thing, that will help out a lot. I'm sure there's a couple, like the 3/1 Sentinel guy is a droid that costs 2 or less, so you can just play that in for free, which is kind of cool.
And if you're in red, there's a couple of red droids, and yellow has a couple of yellow droids that are really cheap. I think it's pretty good. In fairness,
worst comes to worst, you're just drawing an extra card when you play it and when it attacks and lives, right? So.
Yeah, it's a 6/6/6, so it works with Mauls. So I don't know, maybe it should go in the Maul deck. No synergy, but got a Maul deck.
Sure.
Sorry. All right, we'll do the Academy Graduate. I hope to God that is a specific person from the Rebel show in that TIE Fighter, but it's probably not. It is a blue only 1/2. It's a Sentinel, so on the ground it's a 1/2 Sentinel for 2 cost. As a pilot, it is also a 2 cost. The attached unit gains Sentinel and adds 1 attack and 2 health. I don't ever see a world and ever any world where you play this on the ground ever in your life. That's just me. Maybe you do. I would never play this as a 1-2 set. I mean, whatever, I guess. Like,
unless you really desperately need to like jump block something, like it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, you could give it a shield with what's his face?
With Lando.
If you have one pilot in space, you play this in the ground. Now he gets a shield. It's still not
red
good.
Leader costs one less.
Yeah, it's your red leader costs one less. Whatever. It's there. That'll be good in draft.
That's another tool. It's not the worst if you really are desperate need of sentinels in space. Like, it's not bad for 2.
Yeah.
It would be really annoying to like give that to like a Hawk, right? Like the Hawk 290. Now it's a 3/7 space sentinel for 5, but it's okay. We'll see. It might be interesting in something like a Grand Inquisitor deck randomly, right? Where because it has 3 extra health and now reaches the threshold where you can swing again.
Yes.
Who knows? Yep. Up next is 9nub. He's in the game now.
He's very frowny. He's a very frowny guy.
So he is a rebel pilot. He costs 1. He's a green hero. When you deploy him on the ground, he's a 1/2, and this unit gets +1 for each other friendly pilot unit and upgrade. So again, kind of really working with Red Leader. And then when you deploy him as a pilot, he only costs 1. And it gets the same ability. You attach unit gets +1 for each other friendly pilot unit upgrade.
And it's a 1/2 in space, so that's pretty good as an attachment.
Yeah, and it seems fine. Again, it's weird that it's more like this is great for Wedge than it is like Lando, but it seems fine. It really kind of depends on like how well pilots are going to be in this game, right? The thresholds of pilots you want to bring compared to the amount of vehicles you have, compared to the amount of ground units you want to do. But yeah, I mean, it seems fine. Putting him in an escort skiff, that'll show him. I mean, now it's a 5/6 for 5. I guess +1 for each other friendly pilot. So who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. It's okay. I like it. It's like the mods. Like it has its use, but I just don't know if it'll be OP or anything. So
yeah.
Well, the last 2 that we have tonight. One, I'll let you do it because you did the thing. So I'll take the Red Squadron Y-Wing, which I'm actually kind of excited to have another Y-Wing. What's that?
It's a disgusting card. Sorry.
Like I kind of like it, like having another Y-Wing. Like I think this feels like the original Y-Wing was supposed to, but this is better. This is like actually how it should have just been written, and the artwork on this is like so good. Like I will collect hyperspace foils of this card. Just hands down right there. But anyway, this is a 2-cost red hero. It's a 1/3 rebel vehicle fighter, and it is on attack, deal 3 indirect damage to the defending player. Very simple. There you go. Like it's better than the other one. So
this is such a crazy. I think this is wild for a vehicle. It's a common, right? Like, and it costs 2.
Yeah,
you're just dealing 3 indirect, so it usually would kill most turn 1 plays you have, right? Unless they're like an R2D2 or C3PO or like one of the senators or something, right? Or it's E3. It is a 1/3 statline body, and Ray would love this because pump it up and do more damage to things.
Yeah,
scary.
You could pump this up twice with Ray, right? If you don't kill this is a 2/5 with Ray. Like Merry Christmas.
Yeah, like 3 health is kind of annoying to try to do, right? Unless you have like a mercenary gunship or like the silencer or something, right? Hard to take out with Ray. You'll pump it up to a 2/4, deal 3 indirect damage. Like it might not even be too bad in Sabine because either they have to kill their own units or start taking more damage to their base, which is not what you want to do.
This is great in Sabine. This is like you fleet lieutenant this, right?
That is a rebel. So
and they're
and wing
taking
leader and all that.
Yep, they're taking 3 damage to base, no questions asked, and then
Or
do you
to
want to
their
take
units, but
you're attacking the base with it. That's what you're doing when you ambush the fleet, or when you bring the fleet lieutenant, and you're going to attack in the base with it, just like you would any of your other ships. Very rarely does Sabine just go, I'm going to kill somebody else's unit. But then they have to take the extra 3, so it's like a for a cause. Kind of like this is a free for a cause unless they have a bunch of units. So like if they have a bunch of 1-cost units out, I mean, can you imagine this would suck? Maybe go wide droid decks will be a thing or something like that, because then it's like, oh, I'm just gonna kill all my droids off that I just created. I don't know.
I mean, it seems really, really good.
Yeah, this seems above curve in my opinion.
Unless you're like, I don't know, going against some dude who's just running a bunch of grit, I guess like that might be bad, but even then, like whatever, just don't play the card. Yeah, it seems really, really, really good,
and it looks amazing too. So.
Especially in Ray. Like Ray is just disgusting.
All right, well, what's our last one, Alex?
Yeah, right. Well, going on a whimper with this one. Okay, so this is Gold Leader, which is the Falcon. But Gold Leader, it is a 6-cost blue hero unit. It is a rebel vehicle transport. It is 5/5 shielded, and while this unit is defending, the attacker gets -1/-0. So it's like its own little electro staff on a shielded 5/5 for 6. I mean, it's nice if you do things like put Lando into it, right? Because then it's now a 10/10 shielded Sentinel, probably double shielded with his ability. Then everyone gets -1 when attacking it, which is cool until they like rivals follow it or whatever. But like,
or power of the dark side, or I don't know, there's a million other things.
Else that kills leaders. So yeah, I mean, it's we have another 6-cost ship that's a 5/5 shielded unit, and it's called the Ghost, and no one plays it.
Yeah.
Like even in Hera decks, I don't see it played much, because usually there's just better other options for space. But if you force this thing to become a Sentinel, it becomes way more annoying, especially if there's a lot of heavy space. Otherwise, it seems okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It's I think we'll have to get some decks together to see how it plays out, to see if it's like amazingly good or just okay.
Like you want it to have Sentinel because 1, it's shielded, and 2, like it's got enough stats, but they get -1 when they're attacking it. But like also a 5/5 for 6, it's not incredible. No. Especially when they just drop a home 1 and just wipe it out.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. There is a possibility that there could be something there that we just don't know about. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll maybe have some fun with it. So, well, all right. That is it for our Galactic Gazette segment for this week. Thank you all for joining us for that segment. All right. Well, that's enough for the spoiler segments. We finally got JJ on board. He was able to finally join us after his long absence of no power. So you might notice the podcast might look a little bit different. Hopefully not too much, but we finally got JJ back. We decided we were going to do our way too early predictions for set 4 leaders, even though it's not really way too early, but kind of too early. So Alex and I talked about that, thought that would be a great addition for this week, and wanted to include it. So up here, I have everything in blue is what's been spoiled already. So we already know that Piett's been spoiled. We already know that Thrawn, Asajj, Lando, and Wedge was spoiled. I didn't think it'd be fair to just let us guess them. So I just thought it would be a good idea to kind of throw this up into here and say, hey, who do you guys think is left? We do still have quite a few leaders left. Obviously, we have Boba Fett and Han Solo as the extra leaders, so that'll be the extra red and extra yellow. So yeah, so I don't know who wants to start. JJ, you want to kick us off? What is your first way too early prediction for who we're gonna get?
So for my guess for yellow, I'm gonna assume that we're gonna get a Commander Poe as yellow, and this is the episode 9 Poe Dameron. He is more of a leader at that point. We've seen a version of him in X-Wing already, where he's a lot more of a leader type unit, more than like an ace type person, just because of his character development that they had on there. So that's definitely going to be my choice for yellow.
All right, so I got you down for episode. I even put episode 9 for you. Episode 9. That way we remember, and that way if you're wrong, I can just like be like, yeah, it's not that same one.
Ah, JJ was Last Jedi, Poe. What a shame.
All right, Alex,
Oh,
why don't you go next? You want to go next? I have my first one. I know exactly what one I'm going to do first. So,
well, I was also going to say Poe.
Okay.
Specifically, but I was going to put him in red, so he works with black one.
Yep.
Might as well, right?
OD. Yeah, that would make a little bit more sense. I mean, we've already seen Wedge, right? Wedge has got the green wedge. We got a green wedge leader, and now a green wedge thing. So yeah, it kind of makes sense for it. My first prediction, since we don't have any more blue for villain, is going to be Major Von Rick. So I got to pick that. I'm going to put him in red because he flies red, and he has a red.
IBAs are cool.
BA.
Like, I know he was a thing in X-Wing, and I'm assuming any of us have watched Resistance.
I have.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I watched it twice.
Was he big enough for that?
Yes.
Okay, because I kind of had him on my short list, but I was like, I don't know. It's fun. Like, who knows? They pull a lot of stuff for X-Wing.
So yeah, I don't know. That's my pick. I really think we're gonna get a Von Reg. I'm a little bit biased, just because we had Star Wars Destiny had him. So that's part of my bias, and that's like when I joined X-Wing and everybody's like, "Oh, you got Von Reg," and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's awesome." We had that in Destiny, and they're like, "Oh, okay." So, all right, JJ, you're up. Who's your next pick?
Let's see. I'm probably gonna go green, dark side green. My choice for dark side green, probably a good character that could make at least an appearance as an admiral. It's going to be Admiral Constantine, who is the leader of the Interdictor. We've already seen an Interdictor spoiled for this next set here, and he's probably the most famous commander for it. So I think that he's probably going to make an appearance for it under command. So that's my pick for it, Admiral Constantine.
Never heard of him, but he's got a mustache, and that's kind of cool.
Alex is Googling him. He's like, "Oh, what is this one?"
Yeah. Oh, look at him. Also, not the Constantine I would have expected for the spelling.
Fair enough. All right, Alex, who's your next one?
Okay, so this is probably pretty obvious, but I don't know. Red villainy. I'm just gonna put like Vader. Right?
Okay.
Like, I mean, he flies things. He does stuff. Oh, maybe not red though, right? Because they already do that. Maybe he's green. Put him for green for me, I guess. Why not? It'd be kind of weird to release the same colored hero, because I don't think they've done that yet.
Yeah, I don't know if they have. I don't know, JJ, have they done that? I don't think they have.
They haven't, so...
No, they have not. Mm-mm.
Well, I guess this new Han Solo is yellow, so that doesn't... maybe they would. Yikes. Put him back in red.
All right.
Yes. I don't know. But he's very aggressive, right? Like that makes sense. I can't really, he's not like a. I don't know. I don't Star Wars things.
All right. Fair enough. So I think on my side, I'm gonna pick a hero. I don't know whether to do yellow or red. I think we're gonna get Kaz, and I don't know how to say Kaz. What's Kaz's last?
Zuda.
Zoda
Zuda.
Ziono.
Yeah.
So
Ziono with an X.
I don't know what color of ship does Kaz. He flies a yellow ship, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah, the
fireball's like
fireball.
orange and green.
All right, I'm gonna put him in yellow. I guess then I think that's wrong. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna do red. I'm gonna do red. I'm just gonna do it.
What are you, me?
Yeah, I'm playing you tonight. Zuda.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get Kaz. I think that specifically because of the fact that we have other first order stuff coming, and I don't see why we wouldn't get something in that vein right there. So. All right, who's next? JJ, I think you're up next, JJ.
Oh man. So Kaz is definitely a person I would have considered as well, and I'm also gonna pick from the same show, and it's gonna be oh my gosh, I'm trying to find his name, but
Jarek?
Tora.
Oh.
Toradoza.
Tora Doza, yeah.
Yeah.
And she's going to be blue. I think that she is definitely a very good choice for it just because of the ship that she flies. She's a very notable member, the leader of the Aces for the show there. I almost wanted to pick her dad for it, but he's more of a support character than a main character, more less so than Tora is. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Makes sense.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, if you've never watched the show, you know.
Is that like Vanessa Doza's like dad or whatever, or mother? Or...
Her daughter, Venice's daughter.
Okay. Wild.
All right, Alex, you're next.
Okay, so you guys are taking a lot of the heroes that I was thinking, so that's not good. So let's do. I got a bunch of villains because I know more of those, and there's a lot more admirals and stuff. So let's go for green. Let's go green. Admiral Sloan. She's a Grand Admiral.
Yeah, that's good.
Maybe they should ban her too, just like X-Wing.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't think about Sloan. Sloan would kind of make sense to have in there. She was a pretty big
Grand
part
Admiral,
of the after.
right? Like,
yeah, and she fits in with the Thrawn piece a little bit, I think. So. All right. So my next one for that is I'm gonna go with oh Christ, now I can't remember her name. Now I'm gonna look stupid. What is the name of she's the admiral that goes down with the ship? Admiral Holo.
Yes, Holo. I'm Emmeline Holo. Yes.
Holo, is that how you spell it? Hollo?
Holdo at the end.
Yeah,
Holdo. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna throw her in green.
The lady from Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
Yes.
And she's also, they also have it in she's not an admiral? Is she not an admiral?
She has a title. She's not an admiral though, but yeah.
I thought it was.
I thought she was too.
Right? Wasn't she an admiral in the X-Wing
She's a
game?
vice something, I forget. But yeah.
Yeah, so I mean I'm gonna it's gonna be her, or we're gonna get like we're gonna get her, or we're gonna get Mon Mothma, I think. And Holdo, I think, makes a little bit more sense just because of the the Home One and some of the other fleet stuff that we're seeing.
She has a maneuver named after herself.
Yeah,
that they did not do in episode 9.
Yeah,
that they specifically that's bad.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that was my pick. JJ, you're up next.
All right, so we have to bring this character again just because it is probably the most memeable line of episode 9, and it is because somehow he returned. We're going to get another Palpatine character in red. We're going to get it.
Zombie
it's going
Palp.
to happen. Yeah, zombie Palp. Yes.
I'm I mean, they have a third Boba Fett and third Han Solo, right? Might as well make
Yes.
it.
I mean, do we get another Luke then? Do we get to say Luke now? Is Luke going to be a thing?
Dude,
Pilot Luke?
if he gets to deploy Force Ghosts for like
Oh.
2 costs as a token, I'm all for Luke coming in. Yes, why
Well,
not?
That's not going to happen. You should be punished for even thinking about that. All right, Alex, how about you? You're next.
Okay, this is solely going based off the card we received in set 3 and also what you guys predicted last time. And the fact that his name, or that he's an admiral, I'm going to go with, for yellow villainy, Admiral Trench. Right? Is that a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Trench. Yeah.
Cool.
Admiral Trench. Yep.
I did, when they say admiral, I assume they're high ranking and do things. And we have no idea for color, so we have 2 spots left for yellow villainy, and he's one of them for me.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense to have him, right? Like I could see that being a thing. So, but yeah, we didn't get Trench last time, so I really would like a Trench that's more than just a character. So, all right,
I mean, he gave up
JJ.
her first infinite loop, I guess.
Yeah.
Technically.
All right, so my pick here.
Well,
I'm
isn't
gonna
it
go
Tanner's
with,
turn? Wait, well, I just went. Yeah, right, Chris, don't you go?
Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah.
go.
Oh yeah, you did zombie pulp. That's right. Oh, I forgot. Man, you know what I really want to say is I really want to say Ray, because I really think that we should get another Ray, but it just seems silly to do it that fast. And I really feel that you're just gonna get another Luke. I if we're gonna get a Vader, we're gonna get a Luke. But I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go a little bit different and say that we are going to get. Man, we just got an Obi.
Rack.
Do I get to
Rack?
No. No, I don't think. I mean, I really do think Luke, but maybe I'll come back to that. Some of me thinks we're gonna get a Chewbacca, right? Because of the fact that we have a Chewbacca and they're kind of bringing another one back, and it's about time. But I'm gonna go off the course, and I'm going to dare say we're going to have a corn horn. How about that? Do I get to say that?
You want to do this set and not next set?
Well, what's
Legends of the
next set?
Force?
Oh, you're right. You're right. I bet it is next set. All right, I changed my pilot then.
Watto.
No, we're not going to get Watto.
Watto.
I mean, I don't know. We had by the way, we had Watto in Destiny. So, I don't know. How about Gavin? Gavin seems we haven't seen Gavin. Gavin would be a good one. Gavin seems to be a pretty big one. Do I get to say Kyle Katarn? Right? Is that thing? Oh, who's the one I hate the most? Who's
Jyn Erso?
It's Torkoal Mux.
Torkoal Mux. Do we get a Torkoal Mux? I don't think we're gonna get Torkoal Mux. I hate Torkoal Mux so much. But the one that we have not gotten, we haven't gotten anything. I'm gonna go with Dengar. And I'm gonna say that because we don't have that at all. And he was a pilot. We have a pilot for him. I'm gonna put him in yellow though, versus the red, and because he's obviously a bounty. But I'm gonna put Dengar. We haven't got a Dengar, so that makes the most sense
Dengar
to me.
Unit.
Yeah, but this is a shitty unit.
One, but yeah, you'd think he'd be more than a turn 1, 2 for 1 drop.
Yes. All right, JJ. Now it's your turn officially.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna go with Heroic Red here. It's a show that's been out for some time already, and we got to get some characters from there. I'm gonna go for Ahsoka Tano from the Ahsoka series. We absolutely need to have her in the game again. We already got Snips, the young version of her from Clone Wars, already in the previous turn. It's time for adult Ahsoka to make her debut, and she's gonna have to do it in red just to follow her master's footsteps, and she's gonna be great.
All right. I don't think we will, but I will write it down for you.
So here's a hero that you guys didn't say, so that's a little bit alarming in my mind. But for, let's say, yellow hero, Hera Syndulla, right? She did things. The B-wing is in yellow. She had a prototype B-wing,
That's true.
and that's all I know.
And I'm also saying Hera. I agree with you, but I think Hera is going to be red. So it's just easy. Hera has to come back. Hera sucked so bad so far. So not giving us a Hera wouldn't that make any sense?
Yeah.
All right, JJ. Mine was easy. So you gonna say Hera too?
No, I'm gonna go to villainy now. So villainy probably needs a little more Clone Wars representation. I gotta go with Count Dooku Yellow. I think that she probably could come in with another Count Dooku unit that can come in under Yellow. Probably have a couple of different abilities. Have something that synchronizes a lot more with Yellow with control and stuff. Kind of showing the tactician side, and I think he'll do well in Yellow. So I'm going to go with Count Dooku.
All right, Alex.
You guys didn't really help me out too much with this. Yikes. Okay. Let's do. Okay. So I also had Kaz at some point. I would also probably put him in red. Right? Because he's like the main protagonist of Resistance, right? I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Like it's that.
Okay. Yeah. I just. I thought he was the main character, so that's what I'm going to go with. Main characters.
Well, it's easy. I still like my corn. We don't have a Wexley character. Do you think we'll get a Wexley character? We probably get Snap, will we?
We might, but not as a leader.
Yeah, not as a leader. Yeah.
Because Snap would be really fun as a leader. Well,
young Snap or old Snap?
What's that?
Young Snap or old Snap?
Young.
Is there
I think.
A difference? Didn't he die in like episode 9 or whatever?
Yes, he did die in episode 9. Yeah.
Well, with that case, I'm going to go with Plo Koon because I want to be spicy. I want my Plo Koon pilot. Thank you. I'm surprised you didn't say Plo Koon, Alex. Like, I mean, you gotta have the two force charges.
I love Plo Koon.
You do, and you like Plo Koon. You like Obi-Wan.
I guess he did command some things.
He commanded a lot. He was big.
Yeah,
but I'm going Plo Koon. I'm gonna put him in yellow just because of his card. He makes more sense in blue, but I'm just gonna go with yellow because I think it's easier.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so my choice now for heroic red, just to join the bottom tier along with Finn thematically, I'm going to go with Rose Tico. I think that her impulsive nature in the movies kind of matches Red. She tends to self-sacrifice a lot, so I think that kind of goes with what she wants to do as a leader. So I'm going to go with Rose Tico.
All right, fair enough. Alex.
So not like every character is going to be a pilot, right? Like they said that not every leader will have a piloting thing. But I'm still going to go with like Luke for green hero. I think, I mean, he's very famous, right? I am not going to call which episode he's from, but I'm sure it's not like the super young Luke that we have right now. But I'm sure
episode 6.
Yeah,
Master Luke.
Yeah, or somewhere in between.
Or Masters at Service Kasi Luke is what you're looking for.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah. See here, what I'm gonna do is I think I have to switch Plo.
The post edit switch.
No, I'm gonna put him in blue. It's not
right.
post edit. I'm not getting rid of Plo. I'm gonna put Poe down. I think you're right. I think Poe has to be in there. It's just weird because like maybe Admiral Holdo's my incorrect one. But I just don't see how we don't have Admiral Holdo. I just don't see how.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I agree. She definitely has to be in there. And I would expect that we would see the capital ship in there. Golly, I'm trying to remember the name of the admiral from Rogue One. But yeah, I expect that we would see that capital ship as part of this particular wave coming out. And actually, that was going to be my my heroic green. Is that particular admiral from Rogue One? My goodness, his name escapes me right now, but I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, man, and I cannot help you there.
what do you think we get? Do you think we get a
Radis, Admiral Radis. That's what it is.
Okay, I think you are incorrect, and this
But
is
he
going to be
also
like
got Quinlan.
this is going to be like the. How do you spell it? I don't know how to spell that.
Raddus.
All right. Okay.
The real question is that his Quinlan Voss pick, or is that his Moralo Evol pick? Last time. Okay. For yellow villainy, because you guys mentioned this last time, and I think that's like kind of the only Clone Wars villain that hasn't been in this game at some point, right? Mother Talzin?
That's
Right?
what, yeah, that's what I picked last time. Yes.
Yeah. It's like I know someone mentioned this,
Mm-hmm.
and if we're trying to add like not only pilots, I think Mother Talzin fits for like yellow villainy, I guess. Who knows? Because I have someone specific for the red.
Ugh, now you're gonna make me pick another one. I feel like you should skip me. Well, you know who would be really good, JJ? Who's Thrawn's like right hand man, right?
Oh, so are you talking about Eli Vanto, or are you talking
Yes,
about
Vanto.
Okay.
Vanto feels very good, but I don't see it as any more than just like a unit card. But what was the name of the Admiral? Admiral Arlani?
Yes, Admiral Arlani.
Do you think that's just like too far out there to be in this?
Yeah, that's a bit far out there. I would think that we would probably get the other leader of the Seventh Fleet that was in the Dreadnought. My goodness. Actually, I'm sorry. No, the governor of Lothal. What's her face?
I have no idea.
Yeah, come
what
on,
you guys are
JJ.
talking about. Jar Jar?
No.
Governor Price. There we go. That's who I was thinking of. Governor Price.
Yeah, and see that you know what? I'm going to take that. I think you're probably right. Governor Price makes sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, she had her hand in developing the TIE Defender. She was on the capital ship with Thrawn, giving out orders and such. I think that she is a solid pick.
Is it Price, like the actual price?
No, it's with
Y
a Y
instead of the I.
All right, JJ, you are up.
Now that you mentioned that and you said Mother Talzin, I have to go with Elsbeth Morgan, or Morgan Elsbeth, because she has that that tactical mind. She has the lineage from the Night Sisters. Spoiler alert for anybody who has not seen anything of Tales of the Empire or the Ahsoka series. But I think that she would be a great pick for Red Villainy, and that's where I put her.
All right, you're gonna have to help me with her name.
Yeah, Morgan, and then Elsbeth.
She's in my Grand Inquisitor deck.
Yeah, Morgan. Yeah, Morgan.
Yeah.
All right, Alex.
Okay.
2 more.
So, Red Villainy to me seems like it would just be Captain Phasma. Right? Like, that's a thing. They tried making her a thing. She's shiny. She's cool. Get that in there for some First Order stuff, because I don't think really other Force Order stuff in here are my picks. Whoops.
Yeah, I actually kind of agree with you. That's a pretty solid, easy pick to say, hey, yep, this makes a lot of sense to bring her in, right?
I would hope so.
Yeah. So she's like she's been in how many other things of ours, you know? So she makes a lot of sense to be able to come in here.
Isn't she like on a picture for one of the deck boxes too?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's when I'm just like, yeah, look, there's Phasma, I think.
Yeah. So am I allowed to say Wicket or Chief Chirpa? Like, or can I just put in any Ewok? Do we get an Ewok leader? Am I allowed? Like,
I will
don't
just give you Ewoks, comma in general if you really want to put that.
like. I feel like you're right. By the way, Holdo was a vice admiral. Thank you. So I knew she was an admiral of some sorts.
Vice Admiral, excuse me.
Yeah.
Well, she became the commander. Oh wait, no, Leia was still alive then. I don't.
Yeah,
that movie's
she was incapacitated under the 25th. Wait, no.
I mean, I feel like I should put Ewoks in here.
But you only have villainy leaders left to guess.
I know.
I'm pretty sure they ate all those stormtroopers, so that's pretty villainous there.
Choice of food does not necessarily make you. Right? They didn't kill those. Well, I guess they kind of did. They were self-defense eating. Okay.
I don't know. So that's the problem, is because now we're down to like I agree with you. Like I kind of think Phasma has to be in here too. Yeah, I guess like I'm gonna just go with it too, because I agree with you. I think that's what she was in Destiny.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, so I wish I would have put Phasma in here, and I just realized that I didn't do it. So but I'm not going to bow down to the pressure. I'm going to go for far left field's pick, and it's going to be Vice Admiral Rampart from Bad Batch. She was the head of the cloning facilities for the Empire, and a very big villain at that for Bad Batch. We got to get some more Clone Wars representation, although technically this is Galactic Civil War. But I think that
we
is
just did a whole Clone Wars set.
Yeah. Got to do it.
So who do you think?
Vice Admiral Rampart.
Man, you guys clearly watched Star Wars media.
Yeah, probably a little too much.
Okay, for my final pick for Blue Hero is going to be... I feel like Hera, honestly, would be blue, but whatever. We're going to go with Commander Cody. He's cool.
You know this. Yeah, I don't know. You know who I want? Like who I really would rather I put in there. I didn't put Kanan.
Oddball.
I think. Well, I don't think Oddball's getting a card.
Oddball, the best pilot in the galaxy.
I feel Kanan should be in here too, right? Like I feel Kanan should be the blue one, but I just see Plo Koon as being something we haven't had before.
Did you pick blue for Plo Koon because the ship is blue and white?
Yeah.
I mean, there's also Soontir Fel, and we have a wedge. So,
ooh, is Soontir Fel like even canon, or is that just like just because he's the best X-wing thing?
Or hell, even people from the Star Wars, the last Starfighter game that we got with Titan Squadron. My goodness, I wish I could remember their names other than oh my gosh,
the one I also can't remember.
Yeah.
So my last pick is gonna be Kragan. Yep, I only say that because if we're gonna go all in on this resistance thing, let's get some Kragan in there.
Like Kragan Gore?
Yes.
Okay.
We have him. He was. We got a card from him in set 2, didn't we?
We did. Yeah, he gives out shields if you attack the base.
Yeah, that's it.
Sneaky good in Gar Saxon.
But the best part with him would be because if he's in yellow and he can fit that bounty hunter-ish underworld type thing. He fits the underworld, and maybe we'll get a pirate ship. Give me a pirate ship. Give me his damn pirate ship. I love his pirate ship.
Amazing.
Like that's the best. Like that's his ship is like the best ship in the whole like universe.
I really also wanted to have like Dirge as a leader because Dirge's cool, but I don't see it. I don't being relevant.
No,
so he's like a worm monster thing, right? He's cool.
Yeah. So these are our way early set 4 predictions. We will be sure to post this publicly so you can see us and shame us as they come out. We'll report each week on who's right and who's not. So we got more coming to you. All right. Well, with that being said, let's finish up the show by doing our Chaos of War segment where we're going to talk about the late great statistics for week 3 and cover a few of the lists that I felt were interesting. Welcome to our Chaos of War. This is our discussion of PQ analysis. This is our competitive piece, I guess, as much as it can be. There was a whole bunch of PQs last weekend, and so we're here to cover a little bit of the statistics. There's a couple of cool things that kind of came out of it that I really wanted to talk about, like the Gar Saxon yellow coming back. That's pretty cool to see, especially that beating out a Han 1 yellow. Like, man, that's some crazy stuff. With Han 1 yellow coming out very strong lately. Seeing something top over that makes my day. So I'm gonna run down just kind of the top 2. So in Melbourne, Australia, we had Gar over Han 1 yellow. We had a Han off with green versus red in Spain. I think that's Spain. We had a Bossk green, not an ECL, but an actual Bossk, like a 30 health green Bossk beat out a Mace blue. And then we had a second Bossk green, which is crazy, right? Like now we're seeing Bossk green all of a sudden. And we'll talk about it, I think, in a few minutes. But Bossk green over Han red in London. Paris saw Han yellow over Anakin blue. France saw Django Tarkentown over a Bossk green. Mississippi had a Han yellow beating out a Bossk green. Houston, Sabine ECL over Han yellow. Then we had Dallas had a very blue top where they had an Anakin over a Bossk blue. And then St. Louis, I guess they had 2 PQs. I don't know why it says 2 over there, but it says 2. So maybe they had 2 PQs in St. Louis. And they had a CAD Tarkentown over a Bossk blue. Baltimore saw Han green over Akira green. Portland saw a Han yellow over a Django Tarkentown. San Diego, another bloody Han. This one's a Han Tarkentown over Krennic ECL. Minneapolis, see, the US hasn't figured out that you don't have to run Han. Like, it's just like everybody in Europe's like, oh, we're past Han. But it seems like the US is only running Han. So here we have a Han yellow over a Sabine ECL. Then in Edmonton, we had a Quinlan blue, which I'm very excited to go over that deck if we ever can get that deck. Quinlan blue over a Sabine ECL. And then we had another Italy one where we had a Quinlan Tarkentown take down a CAD Tarkentown. And then the last one to round out the weekend was a Django yellow taking over a Django Tarkentown. That had 14 players. That's the PQ we should have gone to. That's crazy. Yeah. I think that Django yellow has to be an anomaly. So overall to date, we had 51 total PQs. There's been an average of 76 people per PQ. That's pretty good, I think. I think that shows the health of the meta. We do have Han with the top number of wins coming in with 13 for yellow and 2 for green and 2 for red. So that is pretty high for winning. Sabine is still up there. Bossk making a very strong performance. Look at that. Bossk coming in here with 4 wins with Bossk green. That's crazy. We didn't even know Bossk green was on the radar. I bet people will be swerving to that this week. It's actually a pretty fun deck to run too. We saw a little bit of that in set 2. If we look though at our top 8, Han Yellow is the highest top 8. But we also have Chancellor Palpatine. Look at that, Alec. We got a yellow Palps in there. So excited. Where's my red Palp, babe?
I mean, sure, like Palpatine is in there, but he is 9th.
Got Palpatine in there making tops. Over Kira. Look at that. It's over Kira too.
As it should be.
I disagree with you. Anyway.
So it's actually kind of interesting that it's like, 31 Django Reds get top 8 to have won a PQ. I think that might be like the biggest disparity in terms of like top 8 to conversion to win PQ rate. So that is kind of interesting that like it'll get you to the top 8, but you're probably not going to win it, kind of thing.
Yeah. And I agree with you. Actually, that is very interesting, right? Because, like people are now taking Hans and doing tops with Hans and they have a higher win rate. Bosk technically has a pretty high win rate comparatively overall, being in there. So it's interesting. And I do agree with you. Like, do you think, Alex, it's because they aren't able to take it over the finish line? Or do you think it's just easier when you're in that top 8 bracket to start, that you've already teched against it and it's just easier because you're already teching against it?
Well, it's not even like necessarily tacking against it, but just having like answers, because you're like, well, I know Django Red's gonna be here, right? And that's a pretty straightforward deck to like counter, right? Because if they're like pretty heavy into space, you just have more space sentinels, or try to deal with like the pings and with shields, or you like on yellow will just they drop something with triple dark raid, you just waylay it back in their hand, right? Or so you already have like counters already to it, so I guess that is kind of tacking it, but like it's such a well-known play style too, and pretty straightforward, because like tacking against Yellow Han, it's kind of like a random list of like, well, here's what you can put in your deck and it'll help in these particular situations, as opposed to like, I mean, you just run triple Concord Dawn interceptors, right? Kind of thing. So it's interesting. And then also I think with a lot of Tarkin towns in the meta, like 3 of the top 5 people that are making top 8s are running Tarkin down, that it's much easier to slow their momentum down or kill it with the Tarkin town, right? So specifically Django Red, because we've been playing that for a couple months, playing against it.
Yeah, all over the board, right? If we look at the most represented leaders, it's Han, then Kira.
Sabine.
Sabine.
Nice try.
Han, Sabine, then we have Quinlan, Django, Bosk, and Cad at the bottom there. If we go back, it's still a pretty good mix. Spark of the Rebellion's a little bit higher, probably because of that Bosk.
Because it's Han and Sabine.
Han and Sabine being up there as the 2 highest. So that if you take those out, I think we'd have a decent mix. So I don't know. I don't feel we have another video where I'll talk about Han. I don't feel Han is such as like extreme menace, but you're welcome to go ahead and check that video out. I'll have the link in the comments. Is getting released this week, so I go into more depth there. Let's not get into it here. I'm more interested in talking about some of these lists than anything else. So we're gonna kick off the Saxon Yellow. JJ, look at this list, baby. We've seen this list before, but this has got to be the updated list, and this is not by Gandork. So I'm a little surprised he swerved to the Han Yellow, and look at this list. This looks pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was actually admiring this list. I mean, it's such a great change and update to this one here. So we got this Gar Saxon Coronet City combo here. We got 3 copies of Hotshot DL44 blasters. We got 3 Snapshot reflexes, 3 McClunkies, 2 Inferno 4s, 2 No to Be Deads, 3 Crafty Smugglers, 2 Bazines, 3 copies of Dr. Evazon, 3 Mercenary Gunships, 3 copies of Breaking In, 1 Boba Fett, 3 copies of 7th Fleet Defender, 3 Clients, 3 Lurking TIE Phantoms, 2 Toro Calicans, 2 Perilous Positions, 2 Waylays, 2 TIE Advanced, 2 copies of Lon Pike, 2 Super Commando squads, and 1 Cad Bane to round off that list. And then in the sideboard, we got 2 top targets, 3 confiscates, 1 additional TIE Advance, 2 Change of Hearts, and 2 Clan Saxon gauntlets on there. It's actually really interesting to see this kind of mix. You got a lot of cheap cards that you can play early on that allows you to kind of press the aggressiveness of the list there, allows you to get some damage in early. The Mercenary Gunship, definitely a really great pick for this, just to have that early space presence on there. I am really surprised, though, to see the one-offs there. I mean, I love the one-offs. You got Boba and Cad Bane as a one-off there. I am really interested in the TIE Advance add-on onto this. I know that it pairs well with Garth Saxon, mainly because you can easily just give either the Lurking TIE Phantom or the 7th Fleet Defender that extra experience, which then doubles up with Garth Saxon's ability there. Just a really interesting combo there. I feel like the space side is a little more stronger there. And then you're able to finish off your opponent with the Super Commandos and Cad Bane coming in there for you. The really interesting tech is definitely the Clan Saxon Gauntlet, because you can then move one of the experience points off of one of those ships to somebody else, and then give that buff from Garth Saxon.
Oh, JJ, that's the other gauntlet.
That's the other gauntlet.
That's the one when that's attacked, you just give one of your units an experience.
You're right. Yeah. So, but still, it's such a great add-on for this particular deck, just upping the amount of attack power they could deal out on this. So yeah, it's definitely great. It's something that I definitely want to try out, because I definitely liked Garth Saxon when it came out there. I just never thought to put a combo like this together. And yeah, this is a really solid list. It's a lot of fun.
One thing you missed, JJ, is that both the Super Commando Squad and Garth Saxon himself is Imperial. So that TIE Advance experience can either go to Garth Saxon, pushing him up to 7 damage, or putting it on the Commando Squad, which then they become a 7/6 with Sentinel. Also, your TIE Phantom swings for 7, which is really silly on turn 3. Also, I assume they only own 1 Boba Fett, and that's why the 2 Toros are in there, right? Because like the Toro literally only triggers if you have Boba Fett, and it's not an Underworld, so it doesn't work with McClunky.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they just don't own triple Boba Fett, because I see no reason why not to run 3 Boba Fetts, because you get the bonus from McClunky out of it, and it's the same stat line. As you're probably not readying Toro, because you'd have to get the one-off in your deck Boba Fett.
Yeah.
I mean,
or I guess one-off Cad Bane too, which you're not. What would you even do to get to that point in that game?
And I'm a little surprised that we don't have Val in here, or because Val works very well. That's what was used last set with the TIE Advance, because you're able to put Val down, drop your TIE Phantom, and then if they kill Val, you just go, okay, here you go, like boom, I'm putting experience on it, and you could choose to do 4 damage to it. I don't care. Merry Christmas. And it does nothing.
So right at the end of set 2, I was actually playing Garth Saxon Yellow for a bit with roughly that same deck that I don't remember his name. His name. Yeah, him. He was playing this really cool Garth Saxon Yellow, and he like won a showdown with it or whatever. I'm like, oh, that's really cool, and it works well because like you have the hot shots and the snapshot reflexes you can use them on your space. So you put that on a Phantom, like I ran this deck close to it. I switched some things up for me, but you put that on like a Phantom, all of a sudden it just swings for 6, and also the 3 health. It's pretty impactful. You can't just like run an arc or whatever into it. But a lot of it just works because it's like I have shielded units, they're sticky, so I'll still get my damage in, and then also they just do an extra damage. Either when you swing into them, it's not ideal, but at least your unit's still alive, or they just hit harder. Or you can just play Boba Fett and smuggle out a hotshot blaster and swing for 6, which is really scary.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also confused why we would have the Toros in there. I mean, I guess it is a 3/5 body, but I don't know.
Yeah, and so is Boba Fett.
I mean, because it's not Imperial, so it's not like
Right.
you can use your... I don't know. I don't know what you use it for.
I think it's literally they only own one copy of Boba Fett unit and put it in there.
All right, that's probably fair.
And also, like, it's kind of interesting against other aggro decks because you actually have the client, right, who can heal. If you start getting a little bit down there. Also, he's Imperial, so you can just put a TIE Advanced on him, and then all of a sudden he's like a 5/7 or whatever.
Yeah, he's stupid when you do that.
Yeah, and that's why you have to tap targets in the side too, because if you're going against like a really aggressive aggro deck, you could probably kill something.
And I think one of the things too, like with this, is the same way as like there's no triple dark raid in here in the same aspect that you had before. That was something that was used a little bit before too, because you could drop your unit, drop that TIE Advance, dump your things, pick it back up, and that was used in the... It wasn't the Moff Gideon deck. It was the Tarkin deck, right? That was what was used in that Tarkin deck.
I mean, and also my Moff Gideon deck, sure, but mainly in the Tarkin one. But you only got I think like 13 space units in this deck, so
Yeah,
it's kind of wonky. You don't want to like blow that many resources.
Yep. You're right. That would make a big mistake.
I'm a little bit not like weirded out. Just like I'm shocked they don't have like a couple jetpacks in there because you can smuggle those, and that gives you the shield and +2 attack. Like you get one of your units to live through it. If you put that on a super commando squad, they're a 7/4 with a shield and sentinel, or 2, I guess, if they didn't hit them yet.
yeah.
And that Lompike's really funny because you're just like, yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna continue swinging with extra one points of damage, and we'll figure it out later. Hopefully, they don't kill me.
Well, the best part about Lon Pike is you can swing, give yourself the shield, and give a shield to somebody else. If you're just going to base anyway, what do you care, right? Like, I mean, you're now a 5/6, so Merry Christmas,
The other funny thing with Lon Pike is because you're running triple break-ins, you can actually, because that gives you saboteurs, you actually kill all the shields off a unit if you need to, which is really fun. Which is also my assumption, other than like you're not dying to sentinels. Like you get past the sentinels, is why they're running breaking in instead of surprise strike.
Yeah, which is what I had been doing in my Django deck specifically because of that. Because then I could just go to base and I have to, like, I just don't have to care about you. All right, let's move on. We've got a Han green deck. I think, Alex, we went over this last week, if I remember right. It's a very similar one. I didn't see a lot of different changes in this list over other lists.
Yeah, honestly,
there's no Luke. I think that was the difference. Is there isn't a Luke. They have the Empty's nesting.
Right.
We had Luke last time,
which is still wild to me. But yeah, it's nice seeing like Han Green was, always good, always relevant, but Boba Fett usually was able to like kind of suppress it down a little bit. But I mean, like from playing Boba Fett a lot, like yellow and green is a fine hero combination. You get a bunch of cool stuff. With Han, you can always get that extra reach. So drop a Kira early, right? Call whatever they're gonna do, or play Plo Koon when you have 4 resources. So you use Han, and he's gonna stick around. So
yeah. So I don't think this one's too much different. This is obviously still trying to do the same DJ Han or DJ Tech combo. There is resupplies. I don't think the other list had resupplies in there. I think that was the big difference. I feel
like you should always have resupply with Han, because it allows you on turn 4 to drop Luke, or to drop Han, or FS in this case too, or U-Wing. So it was always really nice to like have an extra resource, bring out Han, swing, add another one, then drop drop your 7 when they're still trying to play like 4 cost units.
Fair enough. We are going to go over the boss green though. Alex, what is this boss green list? It's got a couple of off-color cards in it that I've not seen played before. So in this deck.
Okay. Yeah, so this is a boss green. It's got 30 health. It's not ACL. This is kind of a wild JJ deck here, let me tell you. But, the concept's the same, right? You use boss, you try to ramp, you put on price for your head, you get the double ramp, you go huge. So it has 2 Salacious Crumb, triple Bounty Hunter's Quarry, double Timely Intervention, 1 Admiral Piett, 2 Colonel Yularen, sorry, not Admiral, 1 Force Choke, triple price on your head, 1 Kylo Silencer, 1 Death Mark, which is actually kind of surprising because that is a bounty, 1 Client, which you will occasionally see in boss green decks, triple Phase 3, triple Super Laser Tech, double Punishing 1, triple Resupply, triple Open Fire, triple Overwhelming Barrage, triple Ruthless Raider, 1 Pirate Battle Tank, triple Vader, double Maul, triple Reinforcement Walker, double Palpatine, 1 Crate Dragon, 1 Devastator. In the side, you have the 2nd Force Choke, double Scanning Officer, which I'm sure is very useful against Han, a 2nd Client, double the Disabling Fang Fighters, 1 Palp's Return, double Relentless, and a 2nd Crate Dragon. I don't know. I'm a little bit confused. There's 8 one-offs. You don't have like a lot of card draw, like, so you're only running 1 Death Mark, so like I don't know how you're trying to get to the rest of your answers, but it is just super ramp and then drop big guys and hope they can't deal with them.
Yeah, I'm very confused too, even why, like, I get why you have timelies to some extent, but at the same token, why have the timelies in there when you could have like more Death Marks or something in there? Like, I don't know.
It is smuggle, which is semi-relevant, I guess, against pillages and force throws.
True.
I guess. That's why I assume they have the pirate battle tank, is because it's a sentinel and you can smuggle it out. I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess. I don't. It's just weird.
If you're already ramping hard, you're not really going to be too concerned about paying the additional cost for the smuggle in there. So having that extra card in your resource pile to bring out at a later turn is very useful. For the timely intervention, honestly, I mean, it's just one of those cases where sometimes you just take advantage of what you can, right? Like, especially if you can timely intervention a super laser tech to swing into something really immediately, and it becomes a resource. It's something that could be useful rather than just playing it, waiting for your opponent to kill it, or taking a turn to send it in and try to kill something. You can bring it out immediately, and have that resource there immediately. You could potentially kill something there, especially if you spent your turn previously setting up your bounties, just getting that added bonus of getting a resource and getting your bounty out. With that timely intervention, super laser tech swing can be really useful to help you get to the higher resource counts that you need for all your big cards out there. So yeah.
So I just have to ask a question, and maybe this is just me, but why in God's green earth, like, what do you do if you draw super laser tech price on your head on your like 5th resource turn? You have no big units. What are you doing? Like, I mean, there's so much ramp in this deck. Like, I guess I get it because it doesn't matter what Han does. Han can't just strip your ramp because you got plenty of ramp. You just got 1,000,000 pounds of ramp in here. But like, what do you do if you don't draw your big units? Do you just?
Or what do you do if you
cry?
only draw your big units?
Yeah, just cry. Is that what you do? Or you draw them all at the beginning and you just. I don't know. Like, the issue I had with Kira is when you get your hand, they start stripping your hand, you don't have the ability to be able to have a bunch of extra cards. So Dr. Pershing is great for that specific, line, is because you drop a Pershing, what are they going to do? Kill it? Well, fine, that's 5 damage that didn't go to your base. But really, like, the big thing is like, I don't know. I feel the consistency is off in this deck, but I really struggle with what do you do if you draw, there's so much ramp. Like, this is more than Pelp Green ramp. Like, I don't even think Pelp Green runs this much ramp.
Yeah.
It is kind of like, it's weird because like Bounty Hunter's Quarry has like 15 targets, right? Which is okay, but like, what if you flip it over and you'd have like, cool, here's my Piett and it's turn 3, right? Like, it's kind of weird. Like, the Bounty Hunter's Quarry is that like that, but you only have 1 Piett. So what are you trying to do for, all your 6+ cards, which would be cool if they have ambush, but you only have 1 Piett in the deck. You think a little bit more consistency? I don't know. I mean, it's cool that you can like play the client off Bounty Hunter's Quarry, I guess, because you play it for free if it costs 3 or less. So,
yep,
you can do it, and that's nice. But like, it seems like it hinges on a lot of very specific hands, like hand states, I guess. And like, I don't know if maybe I haven't played the deck, obviously not this version of it, so I'm not sure. If there's a very weird lines that I'm just not seeing. It just seems like you can just get really screwed. Like, what if they just play a bunch of space units, right? Like, what are you doing? Like, you hit them for 1 damage with boss because you throw a bounty on them?
You're opening fire or overwhelming barrage.
Overwhelming barrage still requires people, and like your biggest one is your phase 3 trooper, or like the Kylo silencer, or the punishing one. At that point, like I don't know. Yeah, it's I mean, it won, right? So maybe there's something I'm not seeing. It just seems like wildly inconsistent.
Yeah, I don't like only 1 Devastator too. Like, just put 2. Just put 2 Crate Dragons or 2 Devastators in. Come on,
Like, for me, honestly, just taking a look at this, I think it's one of these decks that really relies on swapping out cards on their sideboard on there, right? Because if you're worried about facing off against somebody that has, mill, you have that ability to just keep that extra ramp in there. But if you're not facing against that, then you can easily swipe out that restock or that resupply and put in your additional Crate Dragon and Relentless they have in the sideboard, or add in the extra Force Choke in there, or Palpatine's Return in there for your bigger units on there, and then just play as you need to. And I think that this deck relies on that sideboard a lot more than most of the decks.
This is a great deck into control for sure.
Yeah.
Like, it's a, like, if I was running a control deck, I wouldn't want to see any of this stuff.
Never.
I just don't know. Right. I just don't know how it like steamrolls aggro, I guess. That's my only.
Yeah. Well, let's look at another boss green that won as well. So like, let's look at another one, because this one I felt like this is probably just more my play style. Maybe that's why this is closer to my, like to some sort of like a Pelp style deck. This one has a 3 Bounty Hunter's Quarry, 2 Timelies. This one runs 3 Daring Raid and 3 Force Choke, which makes me feel so much better. And then we have the 3 Price on your head, 3 Kylo Silencer, 2 Death Marks, 3 of the Phase 3s, 3 of the Super Laser Techs, 3 Punishing Ones, 3 Cell Block Guards, which we haven't seen in forever, 3 Resupply, 3 Devastators, 2 of the Ruthless Raiders, 3 Vader, 2 Maul, 3 Walkers, 2 Pelps, and 1 of the Crate Dragons. In the sideboard, they have the 3rd Death Mark. They then have 3 of the Sentinel Black Suns for space. They have that 3rd Ruthless Raider, which I just think should just be mainboarded too. 3 Pelps Returns, 1 Crate Dragon, and 1 of the Devastator. So this one has no Relentless, which I also think is crazy, and no Scanning Officer. But this one, the Bounty Hunter's Quarry triggers like so much more consistent. Like this feels more like what I would expect to win, because this feels like this is more what I would call like more mid-range to like softish control, but probably more on the mid-range piece, especially with boss coming out, on that 5 resources. In this one, he could play that Bounty Hunter's Quarry, bring boss out, and just like double bring a unit out, and he has like he's going to hit the units. Like he's actually going to hit the units this time. Like whereas before, I don't know if you hit as many of those units, for it.
Yeah, it's a little bit kind of wild to me that like your only first turn unit is Kylo Silencer, but like I get it because like they play a unit, you put a bounty on them, you do 1 damage to them. Daring Raid actually is really nice with a Bounty Hunter's Quarry because like you Bounty Hunter's Quarry, you ping them for 1, you put Daring Raid, you'll kill their 3, and then you get a free unit out.
Yep.
Which I like that.
Yeah.
Like you're running a lot of ground sentinels too for presumably how you deal with aggro, right? Like what I was talking about last set. You only play the cell block guards if you have triple phase 3 troopers already, right? In green. So you just putting them all in there. And that's fair.
Yeah. This one, like, I think I would drop a resupply to add my Ruthless Raider in. Like, I don't know if I need
51.
or go to 51. I don't know why you would not have 3 Ruthless Raiders. That's just personal opinion. I just would never not have that. They're just too good. Especially with bounties and being able to dump that and just do crazy stuff with it.
I'm weird. I would probably drop an Overwhelming for like a Great Dragon.
Yeah, I could see that too. That one would be okay as well. I could see that as a good consolation.
Well, adding the 3rd Ruthless Raider in there.
Yeah,
just run 51. But yeah, it's cool. Like Super Ramp is fun to play for sure, but very, very frustrating if it like
doesn't work.
If you're only drawing your high cost units and you're just like, cool, I haven't played a unit in 4 turns.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to another deck. This is the Django Tarkintown deck. We're not going to cover the whole deck. Really, the big thing that is different in here is they have 3 on the doorsteps. They have 3 on the doorsteps in this deck. That's crazy, right? Like, I guess you get 3 droids. That's like 3 damage, and then you can just exploit the stupid things for a Geonosian fighter, right? I don't know. You tell me. What do you do with this?
The tank too, right?
Sure. Yeah, you get the heavy pursuer tank or whatever that is. But also, if you play like on the doorstep, you just have a 1/1 raise. So they're ready. You just hit someone, you can tap them down with Django. And if Django's out, I guess you get, more tap downs, right?
That's true.
So it's a cheap way of doing that. But yeah, also a bunch of exploit fodder.
Yeah. So that's kind of the new tech that came out for this deck. Like I don't, there's nothing different in this deck that they put 2 swoop downs in the sideboard as well. I think that's logical. But moving on to an Anakin Blue. Also, this deck we don't have to go through in great detail. I didn't see a lot of anything different in here, but this was another one that won a top for it. Except for Embo. They have Embos in here, and we've not seen Embo be played. Is Embo's the one that heals, right?
If he completes an attack and kills the unit, you can heal up to 2 damage from him. So actually, he can swing for 5 with Anakin's ability. So he's more likely to kill things like if they have like a Cassian out or like a Boba or whatever, you can swing Embo in there, kill him, and then essentially take 1 damage as long as you live through the attack, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. So really that's the only kind of innovation that we had in there. JJ, we have a Han 1 red list, which this one's a little bit different. I don't think we covered this last week, so why don't you go ahead and run through this list?
Yeah, so we got 3 copies of Heroic Sacrifice, 3 Hotshot DL-44 blasters, 3 Sabine Wrens, 1 Spark of the Rebellion, 2 jetpacks, 3 Surprise Strikes, 3 copies of Millennium Falcon, 3 Cassian Andors, 3 Liberated Slaves, 3 copies of DJ, 3 Techs, 3 copies of K2SO, 3 copies of Kira, 2 Sabine Wrens, 3 copies of Poe Dameron, 2 copies of the Lando's Millennium Falcon, 1 copy of Mace Windu, 3 copies of Han Solo, and 1 Emphas Nest. And then in the sideboard here, we got 2 No Good to Me Dead, 2 copies of Spark of Rebellion, 3 Disabling Fang Fighters, 1 Waylay, 1 Change of Heart, and 1 Crate Dragon to round off the list there. Definitely a nice blend here of aggressive play here for Han, and it just pairs very, very well. I love the DJ combo on here to add in here. You got actually a decent amount of smuggle. I do like having that Cassian Andor on there just so you can have that unit they can pull in later on if you need to there. Sabine Wren definitely is a card that I have not seen played very much. That is a really spicy add-on to this particular list here, especially with her ability to discard a card from your deck for the damage there. Feels like a mini Poe Dameron almost for a cheaper cost. But yeah, it's definitely a nice list there, nice change to what we've seen so far for the Han Solos.
Yeah, and for Sabine, the trigger is just, it doesn't match the color of the base.
Yeah.
And you have 19 ride cards in here. So everything else probably trigger if you're willing to like part with the card, right? Which is kind of cool. I mean, it's sort of free damage. But also she's a pain.
Yeah, and if you're smuggling the blaster and Cassian, you're even adding on more likelihood for you to draw non-red cards. It's great.
Yeah, and like you can't attack her when you play her, right? Because when she's exhausted, she can't be like targeted as an attack unless she has Sentinel. So like she is just kind of a pain. Like she'll stick around and like you can hotshot her and just swing for 6, and then they can't do anything about it unless they have like hard removal, right? So that's kind of cool. I was looking for a deck to put a Sabine in.
Yeah. I think here it makes a lot of sense though. So I like that here. We've not really played a lot of Sabine lately, so it's kind of one of those things where I have all of them, but what do you do with it, right?
Yeah. I mean, like it's a cool deck. I'd probably add like either another Mace or another FS. It makes it a little bit more consistent, but you know, it's good. Like it's surprising. Like people won't see it coming.
Yeah, we got a couple more lists to go, and then we'll probably be done for the night. We have a top 8, another CAD ECL list, and I thought this was pretty cool. Something that we had seen once before, that I kind of wanted to highlight because I really like the idea behind this list. This is got 3 blasters, 3 McClunkies, 3 cartels, 2 no good to be deads, 3 crafties, 3 bazines, 2 clouds, cloud riders, 2 clouds. They got 2 clouds in there, of course. 2 surprise strike, 2 bobas, which is odd. They've only got 2 bobas in there. That's a very low amount of bobas to me. 3 of the super laser techs, 3 resupplies, 3 of the elite P, whatever you want to call them. 2 of the, now there were 2 of them, 2 Waylays, 2 Gamorreans, 3 Forlom, 2 Bosk, 3 Zuckuss, 1 Xanadu Blood, 3 Balls, and 2 of the Cad Banes. Sideboard obviously is teched probably for Han with 2 Scannings, the Relentless Pursuers, which are Relentless Pursuits, 1 Overwhelming Barrage.
Just the one in the side, just in case.
Just the one, yep. 3 Palp's Return and 2 Relentless. So this is crazy that there's no, other than that, there's almost no green cards. This is almost like a completely yellow deck, other than Resupply, Maul, and Super Laser Techs.
Yep.
Which means Gamorrean Guard's going to get off all the time. That's good, right? But
yeah, exactly.
I think this is kind of similar to the one we'd seen before. A little bit different. There's no Overwhelming Barrages and only 1 in the sideboard. You just might as well not have it then, right? Like, just get rid of it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, one Xanadu Blood's kind of weird to me too, but whatever, it's fine, I guess. Now there are two of them can pull out a Maul, and that's pretty terrifying because he's Underworld.
I think they
And then
should.
you overwhelming barrage him.
Well, I think they should have more Xanadu Bloods. Like, I actually like the Xanadu Bloods, like, especially because if you play you have a Xanadu Blood and you play like a Bazine down, then you swing, you can pick your Bazine back up, right? And I think that's really good because it stops them from killing your Bazine, so you can still strip their hand every turn without having to McClunky. And that thing hits for 6/6, man.
Yep,
like that's good. Like that stupid ship is pretty good for those. And I have 2 hyperfoils. Yeah, and you can exhaust resources. You don't even need Zori. You just do that.
Also, yeah, they're incredible in hyperspace and hyperfoils, though. Beautiful.
Yeah, I have 2 of them, so like I would be running 2 just because I have 2 of those. It's a neat little deck. I think this is something that people should look out for, like especially if we go more to a Han Yellow meta. Something like this might actually be decent into a Han Yellow, if you're able to control their board a little bit more. The last one, JJ, look at that. It's a Thrawn Green deck. I had to. We're going to go out on a high note. I've never seen this list before. JJ, what is this Thrawn Green deck? Because, by the way, next week I have a Thrawn Blue deck tech that I'm coming out with. So, I don't know. Now I feel like I should be switching to Thrawn Green. What is this list?
Yeah, it's definitely different from what I've seen so far for attempts for Thrawn here. So let's go through it. So you got 2 copies of Greedo, 3 Bib Fortunas, which we'll come to that in a minute, 3 Bazine Natals, 2 Dr. Evazons, 3 Super Laser Techs, 3 Triple Dark Raids, 3 Resupplies, 3, now there are 2 of them, 2 Strafing Gunships, 2 copies of Forlom, 2 Overwhelming Barrages, 2 Bosks, 2 copies of Syndicate Lackeys, 3 Zuckuses, 2 copies of the Geonosis Patrol Fighters, 2 Xanadu Bloods, 2 Mauls, 2 Cad Banes, 2 Reinforcement Walkers, 2 copies of Relentless, and 3 Devastators. And then on the sideboard, we got an each of Greedo, Evazon, Gunship, and Forlom, and then 2 restocks there on the side there. Really great, actually, because you're able to use Bib Fortuna to get your event cards in a lot cheaper, so you can use your now there are 2 of them a lot faster, or bring out your resupplies if you need to with the now there are 2 of them. Or sorry, I completely said that wrong. Ramp up with resupply and super laser tech to get your larger cards out there sooner. And then having the ability to use Bib Fortuna to also get the overwhelming barrage on turn 4 is actually really strong as well, especially if you already have out like a card out there like a Dr. Evazon, who's a 3/3 who can now become a little more stronger, and you can almost clear out the board there a lot quicker. Be really good. Or even if you put that on your strafing gunship, who can now go into the ground units there, and they're taking 2 less damage in return as well, with the overwhelming barrage there as well. That's really, really strong for early play, but it gets even better once you combine that with Maul, as he can get that big overwhelm damage once he's buffed up by overwhelming barrage. It is so strong, and with the amount of ramp that you got on here with super laser tech and resupply, you're able to get to that point a lot quicker. And then you got a little bit of regen with the reinforcement walkers on there, and then of course the Devastator and Relentless, just 2 great capital ships to end there. It's going to be really tough. You got a lot of ways to take out enemy units there. You can exhaust the remaining units with Thrawn's ability on top of that, and I mean, yeah, it offers a really good amount of control, and you have a lot of great units there to push in a lot of damage really quickly. So yeah,
I just have a question. Like, do they have the Relentless and the Devastators in there just for the triple dark raids for the late game? Like, you just bring them out early? Like, is that why? Like,
I absolutely would.
They also finish games. Like, the Relentless is great against other control, and Devastator's the Devastator, right? Like,
but
they do finish, but you don't have like a middle like Imperial, two of them, right? This
Yeah.
is mostly off the triple dark.
Yeah, and how are you getting to this? Like, right? Like, how are you controlling the board? This feels like you can't swing too much with Dr. Everstand, or you're giving them all their resources back.
Well, I mean, you're stripping their hand with Bazine, and you're exhausting with Thrawn almost every other turn. I mean, you got a lot of options on there to just keep on, picking and choosing who you want to leave on the board to do the attacks until you could build up to there.
What's kind of interesting is like on turn 2 at 3 resources, you can exhaust them with Thrawn. And if you have Bib Fortuna out there, you can also play another or 2 of them for a 5-coster, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Exhaust
I just don't know
they have, because you should be exhausting pretty much everything, which is the crazy high power, like high cost curve in this deck, right? So there's that.
So,
but you're playing on a lower curve though, because you spend a resource to do that,
right?
So I don't know.
So. With Bib Fortuna, you can affect resupply, right? So you can essentially Bib Fortuna resupply for 2 resources, right?
Yep. And then exhaust them with Thrawn or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bib Fortuna is kind of cool. Because it can, like, exhaust. Now, there are 2 of them. Boss can just kill whatever I just exhaust, right? Or it's going to get laggies or sockets or something. And that's just kind of annoying to deal with, I guess. But yeah, the Eva Sand's kind of interesting. Like, what are you trying to do with that? Like, couldn't you do crafty smugglers? It's 1 less attack and defense, but also like you don't give them their whole turn back.
Yeah, I don't know. That's my question. Like, I mean, and maybe they've tested it. Crafty is really good because this guy comes in with a shield, right? And it's
yeah. Like I could see like Eva Sand if they're running Vaders, because it is a villainy and crafties aren't villainies. So maybe that would be a choice, but they don't have Vader. So I don't know.
I don't know. This is interesting. I like unique decks. This made top 8, so I don't know. That's pretty cool, right? Like,
pretty wild.
This is definitely this is a fun deck. I feel this is a fun deck. This is something I would at least take to locals. It sucks because I already have my Thrawn Blue build. I've been playing my Thrawn Blue a lot, actually, just because I like Thrawn. But I don't know. Wild, crazy times. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us this week for another amazing episode of Planning Phase Syndicate. Let us know if you like the new format, breaking up the videos a little bit more, trying to give you smaller content, which is really just bigger content that we record all at once. Yeah, let us know how you think, and we'll be back next week with another amazing episode. Thank you. Have a good night, and we'll see you on the flippity flop.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening.